TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the Just Ask Char advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to justaskchar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willen.
Greetings, everyone. TGIF. What is going on? What is happening? What's crack-a-lacking? And all that good stuff. Are you guys ready for the holiday? Did you spend your entire check on meat to feed people that you don't even like? You only see once a year. And then they have the nerve to take 2 plates home. Are you ready for that? I know you are. You do it every year. You say you're not going to do it anymore, but you continue. You know why? Because it's traditional. And you know we got to keep them traditions. Grandma used to do it. Mama used to do it. We got to do it too. Oh, yeah. I hope you guys are doing well and healthy. and all that good stuff, because that's important. You probably, did have a slight heart fibrillation or something when you saw those gas prices, because they're going up. And I don't even have a car, but when I ride past, I just look at the number. I said, what? I did a double take. I was so used to seeing three something. I'm seeing four something. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Like, I guess they got a holiday gift for you. Pay more, drive less. That is a shame. That is terrible. But that's what we got. Everything has gone up. If you've gone to the grocery store in the last 2 weeks, you know that for yourself. And they probably added another tax because I bought what did I buy? I know well, they always tax us here in Chicago when it comes down to the water. They charge us a nickel per bottle. And but I saw like four lines on my receipt of taxes. So I need to investigate that to see what's going on because I didn't buy any um, wine or anything because I bought some already. I have that. So I'm like, okay, where does this come from? But I'm going to investigate. I already noticed that they went up, was it $1.50, I think, on the taxes for your internet? Or at least I'll just say Chicago. If it's not a Chicago thing, it's definitely an Illinois thing because they love taxing us. So it's one or the other. Not quite for sure, but it's one of them. Oh yeah. Let's see what else I want to tell you guys. Um, oh, I never. Well, let me see. So far, twice in my life, I seen prices go down. Just twice. One time was back in the early '90s, I think it was. The Chicago Transit Authority, RCTA, they went up on the bus passes, the 30-day passes. I think they jumped from 75 to $100. And that didn't work out too well, so they dropped it back down. So that was one time. This time, starting on the 21st of November, they've gone down on some of the prices. Now, I haven't got a chance to really investigate because I just saw the posting on the bus and I'm like, oh, I got to remember that. That I have to remember. So I'm going to have to check that out. But twice in the city of Chicago, prices gone down. What? Incredible. And the last thing, well, no, I got two more things. Hey, I'm going with it. Okay. Whole Food. I went, this was 2 weeks ago. I went and I wanted to get some chocolate chip cookies, the one that they bake themselves, because they don't use a lot of the different, ingredients that's supposed to be bad for you, all the saturated and all that. So I'm like, I enjoy their cookies. They're kind of cool. So I wanted some cookies and I asked the lady, I said, where's your chocolate chip cookies that you usually have? Oh, she's like, oh, we don't have any containers. So, when we get some containers, we'll be able to bake them. There's no containers. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking to myself, why don't you use a baggie or do something? I want a chocolate chip cookie. I was craving it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, something going on when it comes down to their, um, getting some of their supplies. I'm like, wow, isn't that something? Gee. Okay. And then the last thing I want to mention, what is going on with the newer cars? Because it was in the back of my head. I just never said anything, but I noticed that the cars, when they idle, they be at a stop sign or at a red light, they cut off. And I know they cut off because I hear them start the car up again. And I'm like, what is that? What's going on? What is that all about? It's no way I'm going to pay thousands of dollars for a darn car and that bad fella cut off of me and I'm not going to get angry. What's up with that? They need to do something. They need to change something, whatever it is, because that's not right. I'll be pissed. But without further ado, I run my mouth long enough. Everyone, you all know who this is next to me. The lovely, the wonderful, the beautiful, classic Ruby, everybody. Yes, yes.
Why, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, hello. Listen, I don't know what happened. It ain't my fault. I went in. I see Char. I was a big girl, right? I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I could go into StreamYard, click it myself, and then it just brought me on to. I was like, wait, what? I'm supposed to be in the back. How do I go to the back? Let me in the back. No, it didn't let me in the back. So here I am.
Voila!
Right?
How are
But
you?
I gotta say, I'm feeling not too shabby now. And the reason why I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't care about you and your gas prices because
Mm-mm.
because of America, the gas prices everywhere else have been astronomical since about 2002. So
Ah.
yeah, that was the first time. That was the first time our gas went from 69 cents a liter to over $1 a liter. Now, there are 3.75 liters in a gallon. Our gas has been well over $1, some of $1.30, $1.40 a liter for a good minute. So when you said, "Oh, it went over $4," I went, "Yes, getting closer to average." Right? That was it. I was just like, "Good." Seriously, you guys are right.
Oh.
If it wasn't for y'all, and y'all know y'all did this to the rest of the world, my gas prices would have stayed at my nice little comfortable 69 cents a liter. So you know what? Good. Good. That's what I'm saying, America. Good. Ha. Sorry. Please keep tuning in. The opinions of Classic Ruby do not represent Char Willie or the affiliates of Char Willie. So yeah, just don't hold it responsible. This is my bitter Canadian cold attitude coming out today. How you doing, Char?
Oh. I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
got my champagne in the fridge, just waiting. I need like another hour. I can't start too early because I start
Mm.
getting. I call it the gangster lean. I start leaning on my right side, and then I slump a little bit, go down a little lower.
Char started like just a touch too early. When you don't hear her talking, she lets us go on a little bit longer, but every once in a while you hear her laugh at us, right? She like, that was funny, and then she just goes back to silence. You're like, oh yeah, she started. She started early. She's good.
Yes, I'm guilty. Thank you.
Right, right. No, Char, let me ask you a question. Okay, this is a weird question. Okay,
Uh
so we
huh.
have a user, right? We have a person. I'm not gonna say more than that in the chat. Okay,
Uh
this
huh.
person's name is Grogu. Now, if you don't know what Grogu is Baby Yoda from Star Wars.
Hmm.
So now, just off the top of your head, if you had to guess the gender of Grogu, right, the one in the chat room, not Baby Yoda,
Hmm.
um, would your mind automatically go male or female?
It would automatically go male.
Right? Okay, see,
Yes.
Grogu, it ain't my fault, girl. It ain't my fault. And the thing is, she corrected me the first time I saw her, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. We had a great conversation." Next time I saw her, she's like, "Hey, what's up, girl?" And I'm like, "Good evening, sir." And she's like, yeah, again, I'm not a dude, but I was like, damn it, I did it again. Yeah, so this whole entire 2 minute segment was just to justify myself. I apologize. Again, I'm so happy you're here. Happy everyone is here because I know Char's got some stuff for us tonight. I know. I saw the title. Girl. I know you. I know you up to something. I know you up to something. For those of y'all who don't know, when Ruby's not well, she has no filter and zero patience or chill. And I still am running a fever. In fact, I'm making the fever worse by doing yoga every day because, like, I need to work out, man. I was lying still for too long. So, if anything, I have a feeling I'm going to get myself into some trouble tonight. So, what are you getting me into trouble with today, Char?
Well, I'll tell you, but I'm gonna go ahead because I know some of the guys, and it's no disrespect or anything. I just notice these
Mm-hmm.
things that some of the guys, they don't stick around that long. So I want to go ahead and give the shout out to our donor, and because he has made She sing, and that's to Gold Professor.
Ooh.
So She hit it.
You see, she. This is why every time I see you, hello, my angelic songbird. How are you this evening? So beautiful, so beautiful.
Okay. Our I'm hoping, some honest conversation, because that's what I always look for, honest conversation, and you have to give um some history or something. That's the only way to really have an honest conversation, just not regurgitate something you heard somewhere or what other
Mhm,
people say or talk show, yada yada yada. So
mhm.
this young lady had a long-term relationship, and she had to do something different and just do something in general to feed her children. So
Oh boy.
yeah,
Okay.
so it is what it is. Whatever, she chose to do. Them children had to eat, and I guess no GoFundMe or whatever. So hey, you do what you have to do. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very worried about what's going to come out of my mouth. All right, let's do. let's do
Ah,
this.
don't be like that. Don't be
So worried. Okay, let's do it. Okay. I'm ready.
like that. All right, let's see. I don't remember hidden sound, but let's see if there's any sound. You'll let me know.
Okay.
Facebook people. Oh, hey,
Yep.
girl. Hi, Facebook. I see y'all on Instagram. All right, what's your name, boo?
Janika.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me just post this. What's your name?
Janika.
Janika. I like that you got the camera set up.
Yes, yes,
That.
ma'am.
How do you spell your name?
How you doing, beautiful?
I'm good. How do you spell your name?
Jahnika.
Jahnika. Janika. Where you calling us from?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio's in the building. How old are you?
I'm 30. I'll be 37 Saturday.
Happy birthday on the way. You're a Scorpio, right?
Thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have any kids?
I have 3 wonderful made children.
Okay. You said made children?
Yeah, I said 3 wonderful made children.
Okay.
I have 3 wonderful children, yes.
Okay, how old are your kids?
15, 12, and 10.
Same dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Was you once married?
Say it again, please.
I said, was you once married?
No.
Okay. No. All right, well, at least they're all by the same father. We like that.
Yes.
What do you do for a living, Janika?
I'm a carpenter. I do carpentry, construction. I am into adult entertainment.
What's that mean?
And I sell things on the side.
What
adult entertainment?
Yeah.
A little bit of something. Just a little bit of something.
What is a little bit of something?
Adult entertainment. Film. Adult film.
So you're a porn star?
Yeah.
What's your porn star name?
Phoenix the Sun.
Phoenix the Sun?
Yes, ma'am. I took the hair and stuff off. I just wanted to be natural. I don't even want to get into that life. I'm just looking for a friend, a best friend. Just a best friend.
So
a good guy.
You're a carpenter and
I do construction.
You carpenter, instruction, and a porn star.
Yes. And I have a lawn care service.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's keep going. Okay.
I'm always moving.
Which job do you enjoy the most? I'm just curious.
The building, the carpentry.
Okay.
Like yeah. If I show you my house, yeah, that's what I love doing. That's all I do. You can look on my page.
Okay. How long have you been a porn star for?
It's been about a year.
Oh, so you just got into the porn industry?
Yeah, it's just something to do to take care of these kids. I'm getting out of it.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Janika, let's do it. Okay, Janika is in Ohio, Cincinnati, 37, is a Scorpio. 3 kids, same dad. She's a carpenter, an instructor for what again?
Construction. I do construction.
Construction. So carpenter, construction, and porn star. Okay.
Yes.
What kind of man you looking for?
Somebody that knows how, that's mindful. Just a mindful guy. That's it. Just somebody that's mindful. You know,
Char.
Yes.
Char.
I'm
No.
saying. I can't say what he gonna look like. I can't say
What?
This girl did not say she wants someone mindful. Listen,
What?
I'm going to start off at the beginning, and I'm going to say I blame her mama. Listen, I do think that there's something to the names you give your kids, okay? So it's like, and listen, anyone who's got a Nikwa or Nika at the end of their name, no disrespect to you, okay? But it feels like she both wants to be Jesus and the whore, right? Like in the story, right? Because you got Jesus the carpenter, and then you got Mary Magdalene the whore, right? And she decides she's gonna mix that together, just like her name, Ja, and then the Nikwa. You put that together. She wanted to live out her name. That is the first thing I thought when she said, "I'm a carpenter." And, oh yeah, you know, and work in adult entertainment. Okay, I gotta take care of these kids. Okay, but she's 37 years old. Let's not lose track. She's 37 years old. She had her kids at 22 years old, at 25 years old, and at 27 years old. So she wasn't some little kid who first had kids, okay? She was grown.
Okay.
She had kids. And then a year ago, when her kids were 14, right, 11 and 10 and 9, then she decided to get into porn after establishing herself in the workforce for 15 years minimum. Then she decided she needed porn to take care of her kids. Let me ask a question to anybody who's listening, because I don't understand.
Okay.
When you're 30, I'm 37 years old. So I'm holding her to task right now because I'm 37 years old. And when I was 22, I wasn't the most responsible person on earth, right? At all. But, right, if she had her kids at 17 and she's 25 now, but she had them at 22, and she managed to feed babies who are very expensive to take care of.
Yes.
Without selling her ass. But now that they're the cheapest that they've ever been, now she needs to get into porn. She stays in porn for a year and then goes, but I'm trying to get out of it. And then the first thing on her list is she wants someone mindful? What sounds mindful about the way this woman runs her life? That she thinks that she should get a mindful kind of man. A mindful kind of man would be like, oh, well, I understand you're so irresponsible with your money and your life choices in your late 30s that you ran out of money and had to go make porn to make ends meet a year ago. Not when you were a kid, when you were 36 years old. But she wants to be mindful.
I'm going to have to, well, because I know the full story, I know the full story. But what I have to say about it is it does take a lot to feed that those teenagers. You got 2 teens and a 10-year-old. Them some boys. They be eating. They be eating up all the food.
Okay,
so,
that's
she
true.
needs some money.
Okay, that's true. Teenagers do cost money. I'm not saying that they don't cost any money at all, right? Because I just said they're cheaper. It's cheaper than buying diapers and wipes and formula and baby food and all and clothes every 10 seconds because they just don't stop growing, right? Like babies are more expensive. They really are, right? And it's not like she said, I got to pay for these kids' college funds coming up, right? No, you just have to figure out how to feed them.
No,
Sure.
Been going all the detail,
Let me ask you a question. Okay, no, seriously. Because I've been out of the workforce for a minute, right?
Okay.
And I've never claimed to be the type of person who doesn't want to be a kept woman. I do. I'm very happy in this position. However, last time I checked, right? When you start a job, let's say you work in, I don't know, I'll just pick carpentry, let's say. And you start in carpentry. Don't you get better over time? right? If you do it
Yes.
for 15 years, let's say you got better overtime, right? And the better you get, don't you tend to therefore make more money at your trade?
Yes.
Right? Okay. But she doesn't have one trade, right? She's a carpenter and she's a landscaper. And I feel like she says something else too on top of the porn. So
construction,
which
Yes.
pays hella well. So she does construction, she does carpentry, and she does landscaping. Those are all three service, physical labor type jobs that you tend to get paid more and more, and be able to get more and more contracts and stuff like that the longer you do them, right? With the more experience that you get in them. That's why people get into trades, because it's actually really lucrative. Once you get yourself established, you're pretty set with one trade. She has 3. What did she need the porn for? Like, how irresponsible is she that she needed porn at 36 to make ends meet when she has 3 other jobs? She got 3 jobs.
Well, she didn't start when she was 36. She said she's 36 now.
She started porn. She said she's been in porn for 1 year.
Okay,
What?
35.
No, she's 37 now. So she started porn at 36. See?
Okay.
See? It gets less and less reasonable.
Well, let her, she want to have some fun, make some extra money. She ain't got no pension. I can understand this.
Girl.
It takes a lot.
Okay. But she didn't say that, though. That's what I said. Listen, if she said, listen, I got to pay for these kids to go to college. I ain't got no pension. I needed to start putting some extra money on the books. If that's what she said, I wouldn't have objected so strongly to her going, I want a mindful man, No, you don't. No, you don't. You want fun. You want someone to scratch them itches. But that's fine. Didn't say that. I want a drug dealer. Because that's like, you know what I mean? Like she's at that phase of life now, maybe.
No.
Like, Okay, go ahead, Vonda.
Hey, Char. Hey, Ruby.
Hey, girl.
Now, okay. Now, this woman, she is employed. She knows how to work. She can support herself. But I think what it is with her is she's looking for another way to make more money, and she's looking for an easy way to make more money. So when she said, okay, she got into the porn adult entertainment, that's not the end goal for her. It's for her to get into that, to find someone to sponsor her. Because when she said, I'm looking for a friend, she means she's looking for a friend with money. She's looking for a friend with benefits, and not the benefits of having sex. She could give less than a damn about the sex. She's looking for a man that's going to give her benefits, in the form of cash.
I agree with that to an extent. The reason why I'm going to add in that she does care about the sex is because of the age. Because your 30s is your sexual awakening. That is when your body finally sexually matures.
Yes.
Right? Oh. Yeah, no, for real. And then suddenly you're like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be? All right, let's do it again. Right? So I do think that there's definitely a sexual element in there. And that's why she said friend. Because otherwise she'd say she's looking for a sponsor, right? She's looking for a sugar daddy. She said she wants a friend. A friend is someone who is sponsoring you a little bit. But they also got to, put it down. Because if they can't, then they're not being very friendly. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we know which terms mean what. When she says he's just a friend, he's not paying her bills. I mean, he might pay some of her bills, but he's putting it down. You know what I mean? We know what friend means.
I don't know. That is just so crazy.
Listen to who knows, right?
I'm willing to listen to the rest of this foolishness story. Let's hear her out. Let's hear her out.
Like that.
I'm gonna mute myself and everything so that way you can't hear me yelling at the screen.
Ron, do you have any other thing to say? I mean, Ruby just came out of the box and just you heard her.
Well, my initial thoughts is like, I'm listening to her, give out her whole repertoire, what she does. And then like she could add something else to it. She's going to add, you know, a sexual component to it. And for a lot of people, 37, 36, that's a little late in the game to be putting your puss out there to, you know, get that work. I mean, that's, you know, she's got, you know, teenage kids, and she's like, okay, now let's put the puss to work. And I'm like, lady,
right?
I mean, how, you know, so that's why I think she's trying to get herself set up before everything goes south. You know, next 10 to 20 years, everything's going to go south. It's going to all fall. So she's trying to get herself a sponsor on her team. She's trying to build her team.
Let's be real. She's had 3 whole kids. Things already started heading south long ago. So but I do agree. I think she wants a sponsor. It's literally the way it is. Okay, I know we always talk about female nature, male nature, but no, human nature is built as such, right? Women are built as such, but so are men. Okay, if you are born and raised in particular environment, you have different life cycle strategies that literally get set off in your brain. I swear, this is an actual thing. And so if you raise someone in, let's say, a hard knock life environment up till the age of 9 years old, that's going to set their brains off in one direction. If you raise them in cushy, coddled, everything is easy, there's no danger type of lifestyle up to the age of 9 years old, it sets them off in a different direction. So I'm going to guess she was raised in column A. Why? Because normally you start puberty earlier, you start being sexual far earlier, you start having kids earlier, you have more kids, and you invest less in them. But now here's the caveat to that. Eventually, you get out of the phase of, I got to, you know, make sure my genes live on, right? Produce, because 10,000 years ago, it was like when you were under danger, like you would be in the hood, let's say, right? You were probably going to die soon. So you better get your genes out there or humanity is going to die off. And then what happens, though, you get to this place where you settle and you go, okay, I got my genes out there. Seems like they're living. All right, cool. Now I can focus on the part that I should have been able to focus on if I was born into safety and security, right? Which is getting safety and security, right? So it makes sense that, okay, she's had her kids, right? The last one is 10. She hasn't run out of eggs. And this is an important one. You understand that if you've already produced a whole bunch of children with other people, you know, you've been out there, blah, 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 you're older, you're no spring chicken, you do understand that there's a good chance that if you're going to find a man to take care of you and your 3 kids and love y'all like your family, you got to give him a kid too. So there is another element in there where if she wants a real safety security net, then she's got to be looking for a man she's going to give a kid to. Let's be real, because no man is going to invest in a 37-year-old woman and her 3 kids without it being his family too.
Well, I mean, okay, her kids they're a little on the older side. So they're, you know, on their way out, you know, theoretically, you know, they're almost 18, that sort of thing. But of course, we all know anyone who has children past the age of 18, they never go anywhere. They always come back at some point. But yeah, I think to a certain extent, you know, that's what she's looking for. She's looking to get herself in some security, because if she has these 3 kids, now it sounds to me like if she has the 3 kids and they're with the same dude, she's been with this man for some time. She was with this man for some time.
Yeah.
You know, so now she's kind of breaking out of her shell. She might be, I mean, I don't know. We need to hear a little bit more of her story, but she might be, you know, newly divorced. And like you say, Ruby, she's still, you know, not, you know, all the way, you know, like 78 years old. She's 37. She's reached that peak in her sexuality where she wants to experiment and do some things. And I think in her head, she's like, hey, why not get a sponsor in the, you know, in the process? You know, if I could get myself a regular dude that, you know, digging me and he's willing to, you know, pay the fee, because she's got to show the goods. That's why she's into the porn. They got to see what she's working with.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, right? So
yeah, I wouldn't do it, but it's like, hey, to each his own. But it sounds to me that that's the path she's going on. She may be, you know, one of those women, you know, she had her kids young and she had these 3 kids. She was with this man. now she's like, okay, you know, we don't know what the story is, you know, if the man has left and, you know, now she's struggling to stay, you know, raise these kids on her own. We don't know exactly that. Once we hear a little bit more of her story, we can kind of, you know.
Okay. You're right. Listen, I'm reserving judgment until we hear more of her
Oh,
story.
it's too late now.
Right?
Beat the woman down. That's a shame.
You know, because she's my age. You know, if she was 27 with this story, I would have a slightly different opinion. And the reason why is because, and I know, I've been told, right, that America went through the sexual revolution earlier than Canada did. So my generation, people who were my age and a few years above and below, right, they were on like the whole free sex liberation nonsense, when like here in Canada, you are still shamed to hell for being a hoe. Like, you couldn't be a hoe in any of the schools I went to. Like, a girl got shamed out of school, tried to commit suicide, the whole nine, because they found out that she had given head to her boyfriend of 4 years. No joke, no lie. So what I'm saying is, right, that's what I grew up in. So she's my age. And so to me, when I talk to people who are like my age or older, I hold them to the standard that I have, which is that we weren't raised with this social media hoism culture, right? It came to us later, right? We were late teens, early 20s when social media began. So to me, to just fall into it like that at 36, like, I don't know how to not judge you, but I'm going to try. I'm going to hold back. I'm going to listen to the rest of her story. Okay.
You sure? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just so mean. Just so mean. Beat the woman down. Okay, here we go.
Somebody that's humble, somebody that knows the Most High. I don't care. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be religious. Just an all around cool guy. Just somebody I can go dance with. You know, somebody go watch movies. I love to eat. Man, I just love to have fun. Like, live on the edge for real. You know, nobody that's into kids. You know, I don't have anyone around my kids or anything like that. Not right away. So, you know, just somebody that's about me. You ain't got to worry about my kids. Don't worry about them. Worry about me. Just me.
Okay.
Just me.
Can you have kids?
Let's laugh. Yeah, you can kids. You got a whole bunch of them. I don't care about that. As long as it ain't a whole bunch of baby mamas, we can be the Brady Bunch. Come on. I love children. I do.
So I've had multiple men on my show that have I have literally 3 guys that each had like 7 kids or more, but different women. So you would date that guy?
No. I said not with multiple men.
Okay.
I mean multiple women. Not multiple women. I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't, you know. I don't want to fight. I'm not a fighter.
Okay.
I don't want to fight.
So listen, the people in the comments think you are either inebriated or you might have smoked something. Have you did either tonight?
I've been drinking wine. I'm sorry. I done had me a couple of aphrodisiacs. You know, I'm just, you know, enjoying life. I had me some wine. I'm sorry, y'all.
Listen, I'm just listen. The comment people, they detectives, honey. So they always gonna tell me what they think they see.
Guess what? If I worried about that, I'm gonna have the things I got. I ain't worried about them people.
That's right.
Want to start me a GoFundMe? I'll take that too.
Yeah.
Janika, what's some deal breakers for you?
Deal breakers, molesters, pedophiles, somebody that don't have to get up and go.
Have you ever dated a molester or a pedophile before?
I actually ran into one, and it hurt me so bad. Like, because he was a pretty cool guy. It happened a while back, but I can't deal with it. You know, I can't deal with it. I have children, you know. So, yeah, I ran into one. So I've been sitting back, you know. I've been by myself for a long time. Like, so, you know.
Okay.
It is what it is.
So you've been by yourself for a long time. When was your last relationship?
My last relationship was my kid's father. We've been broke up maybe 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. So let me ask you this, Janika. I know you're a porn star. When's the last time you had sex, but not because you were getting paid?
Ooh, that sounded terrible.
Yeah. Probably about 18 months ago.
18 months ago was the last time you had sex outside of your porn star job?
Yes.
So what's the reason for that?
She's
I'm just
a hoe
not the
now.
one to just give. Only because I'm built a certain way don't mean you have to have me. You know, I'm that type of person. That's why I say I just need a friend. I'm not the type of person who just give myself up. I believe in soul ties. So I feel like if I have sex with you, then I done had sex with everybody you
Char.
had sex with. You know what I'm
Char.
saying? So I'm that's just me. You know, I was raised early, taught early about diseases. Just ain't her. I just ain't never been her. It ain't gonna be her. You know, that's me.
Is she out of her mind?
Listen, I
Oh
get
my
it.
God.
Phoenix. No,
Her
we're going back to
sister,
Janika.
though.
I get that. I
Girl,
get
I can't.
I get what you're saying. But you're a porn star.
Thank you.
With men that slept
Exactly.
with you.
No. I'm a self pleaser. I am a self pleaser.
Oh,
That means
Okay.
I don't have sex with no one. I'm a self pleaser.
okay.
Yes,
Oh.
baby.
Thank you for
I'm sorry. I should
Except for when you get paid.
clarify.
Yeah, you
Okay,
should
girl,
clarify
there
that.
you go.
When you
She's
were
breaking
talking,
it
I'm
down.
like, how the hell does this make sense if you
I'm sorry.
okay, so you are so what is your job description in that way?
Self pleasing.
Self-pleasing. So you don't do intimacy with men.
Her legs are all the way
No.
spread. Okay, I'm
no,
done.
not right now. No.
Look. Her legs are all the way spread right now. She's basically like crouching in a porn shot while talking. And I'm supposed to take this chick seriously. Bro.
You know like how she sit.
She said, who sits like that on camera?
Well,
like you don't even have Char, you don't even have to have the camera low enough for you to be able to see her thighs spread like that. First off.
Well, she didn't start off like that. She's loose and happy and moving around. I mean, she's just not sitting.
Yeah, she's in her natural position, legs spread, which tells you something. Okay, first of all,
what does that tell us, Ruby?
It tells us, listen, she thinks she's slick. Okay, she thinks she's slick, but she's not. Because here's the thing: ask Ruby when was the last time she had sex and didn't get paid for it. Ruby's gonna say, I've never gotten paid for sex. See how that works? Yeah. Because you're not going to catch me up with the trick question because I'm not a prostitute and I don't sell sex for money. Never have, never would. She got asked the same question. She said 18 months ago. Here's the thing. She didn't say, I don't sell sex. She didn't say, no, you got it wrong. I don't sell sex, right? She made sure to say that about the porn thing. No, I don't do the porn where you can watch me have sex. No. I do the self-pleasing. That's to tease the dudes in to pay me to have sex with me. See, that's the whole storyline. But she thinks she's slick, so now she's trying to paint herself in a different kind of way. Because these women aren't stupid. They do understand inherently that men are not trying to pay money for women that everybody can have, right? There has to be an element of, like, even though guys know, like, you know, the insta thought who's selling it to you must have sold it to someone else, right? But they make it feel like it's a rare commodity in some way to have access to it. So she can't, like, at this point, just be like, nah, man, I let people run through it all the time. $20, I'll give you a blowjob. But she can't do that, right? Like, that's what she does in, like, the DMs to pay her bills or, you know, buy herself a Gucci bag or whatever, right? But she can't do that on screen. And she's getting herself tripped up because she's got alcohol in her system. So she keeps forgetting what she's supposed to lie about. That's what it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm sorry. You can't. Listen, I was raised. Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I said you were raised in my generation. So you should know better. Then you say you do know better. But then are advertising your... Because this is the thing too, right? Like, she advertised it. She told you her porn star name. Okay. I don't know what era people think we're in, but we're not in the era where porn stars are making so much money. Unknown people, by the way, who, no offense, it's not like she has the craziest body in the world, right? And she's totally unknown. I mean, she's got a cute face. Don't get me wrong, but like she's not like little Miss Super crazy bodied, right? And men are paying lots of money to watch her just touch herself, and that's it. I don't believe it. I'm gonna be real. I don't believe it because of the way that things are now, where you've got people like Lana Rhoades, who's a very popular porn star, who is making lots of money, who had to do more and more treacherously disgusting stuff because there's so much free access to porn now that even like just normal missionary is not enough, right? Like,
but do you see what she's doing right now? I mean, she's on Kendra G right now. By now, I'm sure a lot of people know what Kendra G show is about. It's about, her, the dating and meeting people. So now this is what this woman's doing. She's going into her, her advertisement. She's made it clear. Okay, listen to her story. I'm going to tell you what her story is. She came here and she told us she had 3 kids with the same man. They were together up until about 2 years ago. So she hasn't had sex in 18 months, a year and a half. So now she's trying to supplement her income and she's trying to get into porn. Now, I think, Kendra is being, way a little bit too gracious, but you're a porn star. Just because you're in porn didn't make you a star. I mean, she's not a star. That's used way too loosely. When someone is in porn, they always get that star at the end, and I don't know why that always happens, but this, like you say, no one knows her. This woman is not a star. So then she comes and she says, I'm looking for a friend, Oh, I'm not out there having sex with guys. Wait a minute, let me explain. I'm out there displaying my goods. I'm advertising. I'm looking for someone who has money, who wants to come in and have a one-on-one situation with me, a pay for play type of situation. And that's what she's looking for. She's not trying to go out there and bang, like 50 guys for, $10 each. She's trying to find her a steady Joe, a steady John.
I think she's looking for more than one.
Oh, she might. Hey, if she got 5 of them that are all giving her money, but that's what she's looking for. So she's advertising right now. This is what I do. Got her little leg all up, and she's doing her little Indian style pose and stuff. And I got a little wine. She's not very classy. There's nothing classy about this lady. I mean, if you look at her demeanor, you look at how she's acting. I mean, I don't know what she thinks she's gonna get with her presentation. And I'm gonna go back to the presentation. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I think but it all depends on what you're looking for too. If you're just looking for just somebody who has a green pocket, a full pocket, then maybe
no, she still should have did better. No,
I agree. I totally agree. It looked like she just rolled out of, dance class or something. She looks like she's sweaty, maybe she's been sitting around in that all day and she's done sweated off in it. It's not, the presentation is not good. And then to come on and say, yeah, I'm in porn. So immediately you think she's out there banging, a bunch of guys in a nasty, sweaty situation and she's getting $10 a pop, or it's not a good presentation. So I don't know what she thinks she's going to get with that. And she should not have come on with the wine. She should have had a clear mind. If you're doing business deals, honey, don't do your business under the influence, inebriated. Right. Don't do that. So but then again, this could also be another case. If this is a woman, we don't know what her situation is with regard to her kid's father. If this is the man that she's been with for many years, and maybe she's not been with other men. So she's getting her buck wild out now. It's like, okay, now I'm just out there. I
don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And the reason why I don't, right, is because in general, when you find people, right, who are very limited in their sexual history, as far as like, they didn't sleep around too much, they were serial monogamists, or maybe they were virgins until marriage, or maybe 1 or 2 people before marriage, and then that was it. And they don't go to porn. They don't. Because they have a completely different conception of what sex means and what their own personal virtue means to them, right? It is part of their integrity to not just spread their legs and give it to everybody. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2, though, people who have that limited sex history like that, like they got, you know, their sexual partners is in the single digits and stuff like that, they're not saying stupid shit like she's saying. They're not saying, no, I don't want a man who's gonna, you know, be able to be a good stepfather, and, you know, actually come into my life, we get married and have a family and settle down. No, right? Like that's what somebody who actually has that type of mindset would be looking for. They'd be looking for husband number 2, or they'd be looking for something that could turn into something serious, because they're not about to just spread their legs for some fun. Right? Because if they wanted to do that, it would be in their nature and it would be in their history. So unless she's lying and not all those children belong to that one man that she was married to, right? Then I don't believe that that's what it is. I don't. I think that she was hoeing before. She might have been hoeing during, and now she's hoeing after the marriage. That's what it is.
Dang, so cold.
That's just if she was married. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, you know what, and you know what, you're very well within your rights to come to that conclusion. I mean, she put the whole spread out there, you know, for people to look at it, judge it, and make
literally.
Their own, you know, hey, I said spread. I meant that.
Literally.
I meant that. But yeah, so that's a nice little take on it. I mean, but you know what, Ruby, you know, with me and you're always gonna go the far way left with it. You know, I'm always gonna be like, yeah, she might be a little hoe-ish, you know. And I'll try to balance it out. Like you, like, oh no, if she's doing this now, she probably been a hoe her whole life. I'm like, well, maybe she just hoism. I don't know. I'm gonna say, well, maybe she discovered hoism after her and her children's father that she'd been with for 15 years or so.
Oh,
you know,
please.
That's what I'm going to lean toward. But we have a gentleman on the panel. Let's see what he has to say.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? So I agree with Ruby and Vonda.
Thank you.
I agree with both of you. I think she probably was always out here. They probably had a separation a few times, the air quotes separation a few times throughout that relationship. But I agree with Vonda. Now she's looking for a sponsor. I'm not saying that she wouldn't entertain 2, 3, 4 guys like Ruby is suggesting, but I'm saying right now she's looking for one sponsor, one dude that's gonna come through every month, slide her $1,000, slide her $500, $750. She lives in Cincinnati, so it ain't. She don't live in no super major city. She lives in a mid-tier Midwestern city in America. So like, yeah, a dude that comes through, if he make him, I don't know, 80 grand a year, and he slide her a little 750, a little 500, which I don't know. I'm not even gonna say that about her, but I was gonna go to a really mean place, but like he slide her a little 500, she'll be good. A little sponsor to buffer some of those bills, yeah, she'll be all right. That's what she's looking for. I think that's the primary look. I'm not saying, once again, Ruby, that she wouldn't entertain 2 and 3 and 4 guys to make up that financial situation, but if she could find her a guy that slide her $600-700, yeah, she'll be down to do anything. Go ahead.
You have 3 kids, okay, who wanted 15, like, was it 15, 12, and 10, whatever, right? Something around there. Now, here's the thing. We have to recognize something. This woman is 37 years old, and she got into porn a year ago, okay? By the time you are 36 years old, no matter what you say out loud to other people, right? Because every woman's going to say she's a 10, and every woman's going to say this, and we've been alive on this earth for 30 odd years. We know exactly where we rank and exactly what we can actually get. We know I'm telling you. And I'll tell you something else. I know women who work in the sex industry. I do. I know women who are sugar babies. I know women who've been strippers. I know women who were porn stars. I've known them all. And I'll tell you something. A woman who knows that she can pull having her bills really paid, or pull getting that Gucci purse and blah, blah, blah. She's not on shows dressed like this with her legs spread to try to entice the audience to maybe at least click and give her little $5 on OnlyFans, because she's not desperate.
So doesn't that clearly not make her a professional, though, Ruby? Look at how she's presenting herself. She's not a professional. She's just getting into this, and she is stumbling hard. I mean,
she's a hoe.
The worst thing there is, I mean, you know what? Being a hoe, that's relative to the person who's doing the hoeing. But you know what? Young hoe, that's one thing. But when nothing worse than an old hoe. I'm sorry. You don't get to be 37, 40 years old and be like, guess what? New career change. I'm going to be a hoe. No.
With
Wait,
boys,
okay, look.
with boys.
Neek
Jesus
said it.
Christ.
You're absolutely correct. And I didn't even touch on the fact that she has sons, because you know what? I'm sorry, lady. Those sons are going to find your page if you're trying to hide it. But who knows if she's trying to hide it? I mean, she's on Instagram or, YouTube with Kendra G.
She ain't trying to hide nothing. And that's why I know she's an actual hoe. But see, like Neek just said it.
Dang.
She said she is not in proximity of any man that makes that much money. Now, see, I agree with that. I think that's actually exactly the issue. I think that, and not only is she not in proximity, she knows she can't draw the attention of men who make that much money. And that's why I know for sure that she's actually in a place where she's looking for multiple, because she understands, like, you don't go into porn at 36 years old when you have 3 damn careers because you can't make ends meet. It doesn't make sense, right? But it does make sense that she decided that she wants the more glamorous life. She wants them red bottoms. She wants them Gucci purses. She wants those things. And she will never be able to afford any of the above unless she's letting people listen to how, like, okay, let's be real.
I agree with you. No, I'm agreeing with I don't know if Vonda's saying this also. This is what I'm saying. I agree with all of that. I'm saying the primary goal would be to get one sponsor. That's the ultimate goal.
I know. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Even if she's looking for a couple, I mean, the one sponsor might not be enough. She can have 2 of the same. It's just she wants that steady income. She said
exactly.
But what y'all are missing is this.
So
this is what y'all are missing. No, this is what you're missing. This is what you're missing, and it's part of the issue. There's a difference between a woman who is a sugar baby looking for one sugar daddy and a woman who's looking for more, like just more and more and more and more, because one will never be enough. If she finds the guy, let's say she lucks out and she finds a guy who's willing to pay all her bills, guess what she's going to look for? Another one to pay all her bills. And then she's going to look for another one to pay for a car and look for another one to buy her those red bars. It's never going to be enough because she got into this for a reason. She didn't get into this because, you know what, she just likes being a kept woman. She doesn't like being kept woman. In fact, she likes doing things that we would say are typically male-dominated careers.
She's never been a kept woman. I can guarantee you that.
I agree with that.
Even though she had those 3 kids with that man, we don't know what type of man that was.
Right. This is a hustle. This is another hustle.
I don't want us to forget, and I'm on the panel with a bunch of women, so y'all could tell me if I'm wrong. The delusion. So Ruby said something. And as a man observing women, my 35 years of life, I always find it fascinating that y'all know that this nigga ain't fucking with me like that for real, or y'all know I'm not gonna win in this game, or y'all still like commit with all the passion in the world, and then when y'all lose, y'all throw the biggest temper tantrum like you ever had a chance of winning. That's what I feel like I'm looking like at with her, right? Like what we're saying with the number one sponsor thing. This is in my mind a last ditch effort, and like you were saying earlier, Ruby, before the gravity starts hitting, or I think it might have been Vonda, before the gravity starts hitting, before all of those things start happening, this is that Hail Mary pass to the universal God of, please let me get at least one, or let me get 2 or 3 or 4. Exactly.
Because then she would look for it. She would look for, she's old. She's so old, right? Like, let's be real. 37 is old for this. So if you're looking for one sponsor,
it is.
Right.
It is.
If you're looking for one person at 37, you're looking for a husband. You're looking for a commitment. You're looking for someone who is going to meet your kids and be a stepdaddy, because you know that's what
she wants. Freedom.
I understand. Hold on. That's what I'm saying. When you're 37 years old, if you're looking for one and you're just looking for a stable sponsor, then you're looking for a husband and a stepdaddy. But because she's not 27, she's 37, and she just got into this game. And she got into the game, and it's like when power is addictive, money is addictive, the lifestyle is addictive, right? Y'all pointed out earlier, her kids are a little bit older now. She has to commit less time and energy to them. The 15-year-old can babysit the young one, right? That means she can get back out in the clubs and she can start looking hot again, and she can get into that. But she's aware of her social standing. She was aware of it before she had the kids, and she's aware of it now. She understands that she can't get more. She doesn't have the youth or the beauty, right? Or the femininity, let's be real, right? For her to be able to run that game. That's what she's a hustler. Like she has a male mentality, hustler kind of mindset. And men are sitting there trying to find one hoe. They're gonna go get themselves 20 hoes, and if they can find the 21st hoe, they're gonna get her too. To, you know what I mean? Like she's on a hustle.
But you gotta look at it like this too, Ruby. Then again, you have to realize too, she's new to the game. So just because she starts one way does not mean she's not going to end up another way. Right now, she's like, oh no, I don't have sex with people. I like do stuff. You know, they can come to my page and I do stuff. They can see me do stuff. But you know, what is she going to do when, you know, somebody offers her that fee for some me
Man,
time?
you could smash for $1,500. Not even. I think you could smash for like 5 or 6.
Dang.
So she'll change. That's what I'm saying. She'll change. And then instead of, oh no, I don't actually have sex, she's gonna graduate to something else. Right now, she's just new. She don't know what she's doing.
Oh, she's already having sex. She's on camera with her legs spread. Okay, she's having sex for money. She agreed that she didn't
think classy. She's very clunky with her whole get down. I mean, the presentation is not a professional presentation.
This is not refined to a
but she's trying to put it out there because she's trying to draw some people to that page.
She wants to draw people to the page, but here's the thing, right? She is not a professional because she's just got into it a year ago and she's older and she's getting herself liquored up to get the, you know, the bravado or the courage. But the fact of the matter is she decided probably after she met the pedophile, broke her heart that he's a pedophile and whatever. And she said, well, I'm never going to find love again. So she decided she's going to turn to hoe ways. And she decided she didn't want to be a stupid hoe. She was going to be a smart hoe, right? Because smart hoes at least make some money out of it. And that's what I'm saying. This is another hustle for her. She slept with people for money, but it's for money. It's part of her hustle. And that's what I'm saying. I think she's looking for bigger than what she's been paid, right? $50 for a blowjob, $100 for
I actually have a question for the panel too after that.
And something more
consistent. Can I just say something before you ask that question? I just want to say,
yes.
Meek, she said, stop applying your high middle class mindset to this gutter snipe. You know what? I'm just gonna make a disclaimer. For me personally, I always try to see like the good side of people before the bad side. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you guys in doing this show, I'm going to tell you, Ruby like will bring that part out first and smack me in the face with, not just like, wait a minute, Ruby, I wasn't ready for that. Ease me into it. But yeah, I just always like to see the good in people first. I mean, and people will eventually show themselves.
There are lots of hoes with a heart of gold. It doesn't make them less of a hoe. Sorry,
and that speaks to where I was gonna go with it too, which is like, okay, y'all go on y'all girls' dinner date when y'all go to Fridays or something, or y'all go watch a movie and y'all 5 or 6 deep and y'all eating at whatever mid-tier restaurant. Let's say it's 8 o'clock, right? This is the last stop before y'all go home. And one of the girls that your homegirl bought is this chick, and she start talking like this. What goes through your mind? Because I wonder if women judge women, because at least the way y'all present to men oftentimes is this united front, like y'all don't be judging each other.
Oh hell yeah, women judge other women.
What do y'all say to this chick? Like, are y'all like whispering to each other or texting each other about this chick? Like, how does this go? Because I'm telling, like, men will give each other a look like this bitch is crazy, but whoever trying to smash, we ain't gonna fuck up your chance, right? But we both looking at each other like, nigga, this bitch is crazy, right? So like, what goes through your mind when a woman like this is talking like this when y'all out?
You know what? For me personally, I try to understand where she's coming from and how did she get here. That's me. If she's presenting herself like this, and if she's willing to answer questions, well, I mean, how did you get into this? Why would you come and introduce yourself this way, looking for people? So, I mean, she didn't come on and say, hey, I'm 5'10", 145 pounds. And, I work here and I work there and I'm looking for, a decent guy. She came on and she went straight for the sex, because sex sells and she's looking for that sponsor. I mean, it's just the way she presented herself. I just don't think
She's a very grounded. Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys something. She's a very grounded to me. I'm being real. A very grounded masculinity to her. Right, not the pop off and yell and scream that people are calling masculinity. I think she's very masculine. I think she tends to roll with men. You know, the energy in the house is very masculine. She doesn't really add a feminine touch to it.
Oh, she does work in construction.
Tool belt and she knows how to use it. She's a carpenter by trade.
And construction. And landscaper, right? Like those, she gravitates towards male dominated things, and she has male dominated skills, which means she probably does have a male dominant mindset. With that being said, right? Because I have a male dominant mindset as well, and I have some male dominant skills. Now, with that being said, though, right? When I'm talking about me and my girlfriends, we still all have, even though most of my girlfriends are really very feminine in comparison to me, definitely. They don't think like her. Like they're not on the hoe tip. We all have similar virtues and morals. So therefore, they wouldn't connect and make friends with this woman for this woman to be brought into our space for us to judge her or not. She just wouldn't be part of us. She can live her life. She cool over there, but she wouldn't be part of us, because even though she has, on one side, she has an energy that I'm probably more comfortable with as far as women and interacting with them, her mindset and her virtue is off for me. So just the way that she thinks, and I know, again, like I said, I have friends who are in porn. I've had friends who are strippers. I have friends who are literally sugar babies. Like that's how they pay their bills. There's still, you can still have class and self-respect and integrity while working in the sex industry. And to me, there's a difference between people who work in the sex industry and then people who've given up on life and decide to become hoes and they're just sloppy with it. And
sounds about right.
She's that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what. And go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Peace to the panel. What's going on, Char? What's going on, ladies?
Hello. Good evening.
What's going on? What's going on?
Twin Turbo. What it do? What it do? Hey, yeah. Yeah, this is a very interesting case right here. I would say, first and foremost, I don't know what she's possibly thinking of, what guy would take her serious after doing that type of porn or whatever for a serious relationship. As she gets older and with all of this stuff out on the internet like this, and she doing that, she'll be instantly disqualified from anything serious by any respectable brother, first and foremost. Number two, she's way too over the hill, and from the looks of this video, over the weight to be out here trying to sell that thing like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like she's probably 10 years past that. Easily.
Just about, you're right.
Yeah, the tattoos I can see under the chain. Clearly she's overweight just by looking at this photo. Hey man, she's way in over her head with this, and she don't really know what she's doing with herself.
I agree. See,
no, Vonda's right about that. Yeah, Vonda said that. Yeah, Vonda's right about that.
What she's doing.
Okay. Yeah, she's
looking very clunky with it. It's not smooth.
Literally and figuratively clunky.
It's raggedy. Her whole get up and setup is raggedy. I mean, if she was gonna go on Kendra G's show and she was gonna okay, I'm looking for sponsors. Let me, get myself together. Let me present myself so I can at least get some people to my page. That seems to be her whole, point. And her presentation is it's trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's also a little bit in denial. Like she's wearing a t-shirt from about 40 pounds ago. I am a
big fan. Maybe 23 pounds, Ruby. 40.
40.
Yeah. Don't do that. I agree. Let's give her 30 pounds. Let's give her 25, 30 pounds.
I'm giving her 40. I'm giving her 40. Here's the thing. She might have been small and petite enough to fit in that shirt at that time. It really bothers me when people don't wear their size, when they don't dress. And I'm not even talking about if you're fat, then you can't wear this. No, it's not that. I'm saying that if you're a size 16, buy clothes in size 16. Buying clothes in size 10 does not make you look cuter or thinner.
Ruby, you asking people not to be delusional. You're doing too much. They need the delusion, Ruby. They need the delusion.
No, well, here's the reality. The reality is, if you want to live in the delusion, nobody is going to ever read the tags on your clothes. You can even cut those off so you don't have to know what the size is. But here's the thing: you look thinner when you wear clothes that fit you. And the reason why I think she's not even, she might be overweight. I don't even think she's obese. But the problem is, because she's wearing the shirt from 40 pounds ago, she looks a lot bigger than she is, because it looks like her arms are like dwarfing the shirt, right? Her body is like dwarfing the shirt. The shirt is compressing her boobs so they look smaller than they are. Like, she has literally, by putting on this one shirt that is clearly too small for her, made herself look so much more overweight and so much less proportional and attractive than she would have if she had just dressed her age and her weight. That's all I'm saying.
I got
Can we
four
also?
things. I
I'm
think I
sorry.
got four things. Let's see. The first one is to answer Mr. Z's question. If I'm out and my girlfriends and this girl was here and she says some stuff, I look at her and that's it. What she does, I wouldn't care. But if she was going off with someone, then I may, have her to think about it, especially if she doesn't know the guy. But that's as far as I'm going to go. If it's brought up with the other girls that I'm with and they mention, I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. That was too much for me. I don't know why she's doing that. Maybe something small talk like that. And then that's it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then
No judgy eyes, Char. No judgy eyes.
I mean,
The eyes are part of it.
Thank you. Yeah, you see how I cut her up, right? I cut
Yeah,
you. Look, hey, I've been around women my whole life, boy. Them eyes be telling the
We
truth.
have a way of giving a look that, the look says it all, but hey, you don't have to speak on it.
Yeah.
Everything ain't for speaking on, but hey, you can look and think whatever the hell you want. Be like, what is she doing? But okay, now I'm on my business, let her be her,
And then for 3XL, when you said that no, when we say nobody, I know you can't really mean nobody because it's working with somebody. So
yeah,
I'm just saying.
I can see a 60-year-old guy breaking bread on that.
There you go. That's somebody.
And you know what? I agree with you on that too, Char. That there is going to be somebody. It may not be, who we have in our mind. Like, when you start thinking with all these terms, high value man, a decent man, a good man, you have a picture in your head. Hopefully you gentlemen see yourself like, oh, that's what they're talking about. High value, good man. You see yourself and you're like, oh no, there's no way in hell I would be interested in that. Is
it a question of? Is it a question of probability versus possibility? Because oftentimes, and when we get into conversation of the difference between men and women, oftentimes, we get into men. Oftentimes work off of probability, right? If you tell us there's a 99% chance we ain't gonna make it, the bravest of us will maybe still try, but for the most part, nah. But y'all could tell me if I'm wrong. Oftentimes, if you present that information to women, they're like, yeah, but it's still possible though. You ain't tell me it ain't gonna happen, right? So I wonder if that's what we're seeing. Also, is her kind of, like I said earlier, throwing the Hail Mary shot, to possibly get this man or these men that's gonna sponsor her.
No, I think she's already gone through that phase. And see, because what happened is, right, for whatever reason, her and her husband divorced, right? So then she finds someone else, and she said the situation really hurt her. That means she thought she had found a new love, a new life, blah, blah, blah. She thought she had found everything she was looking for, and it was great, except for the fact that, oh, wait a minute, he's a pedo, right? And so that was the last time she decided to commit her heart. And after that, she decided to get into this whole I'm gonna be a hoe then industry. So I think that she's beyond that point. And she's not really saying anything that's delusional, because delusion would be to say, right, well, I'm looking for a multimillionaire who's gonna marry me, take care of me, my kids, and move us to the hills. She's not saying that. Right? She said she's looking for a mindful man, but otherwise, what's she looking for? She's looking for a dude who's gonna fund a party lifestyle and blow her back out. That's it. That's all she's looking for. To me, that's pretty possible and probable. Like it's not like a rare thing that would happen. It'd be very easy for any woman to find that.
So she's looking for a degenerate, but not one who will, is
mess
a pedophile.
with kids.
Yeah,
right.
not one
that seems to be your only issue.
Because she's looking for a different type of degenerate.
Yeah, like she didn't even say, like, she didn't have any standards for what he would look like, right? His weight, nothing. She had no standards for that. She wants a particular thing from you. She doesn't care how, like, if you live in a Roach Motel to be able to pay her $500 to $1,000 a month of good lifestyle, she's good with that. She doesn't care because she's not looking to commit. She's not looking for
I
a
agree with
man,
Ruby on this. I
right?
agree with
Like,
this.
so I think she's pretty. I think she's actually pretty. I think she's almost pessimistic, which is why she's put herself into this position.
I
Because
don't think it's an almost. This,
yeah,
but this speaks to what we're saying. The Hail Mary pass. This is the, like Vonda said. This is the Hail Mary pass because
this is not a Hail Mary.
her knees buckled once a couple years ago, and she was like, "Oh shit, I'm getting old." Right. This is the gravity's about to hit. This is all of that.
No, but you're not
Go
making sense. Here's what doesn't make sense about that. If you are in a position where you're saying, "Oh my God, I'm about to lose my pull in the sexual marketplace," so therefore, what you're looking for then is a permanent solution to that problem. Yes, you are. No,
You're
not
speaking
me.
from a rational
No,
place. I'm saying
not
no.
speaking from a rational place. I'm
Go
speaking
ahead.
from what that Hail Mary, everything that you're describing, right? Because if you know you're about to lose your ability, that's what you're looking at. You're thinking, man, I'm about to lose my ability to get that type of financial security from a man. I have to hook someone in. When you're at the Hail Mary, right? You know this is it. If you don't get something permanent, then you have nothing at all, right? So,
but she doesn't seem
whereas what I'm saying is this: she's given up. She thinks I'm not gonna get anything at all. So what I'm gonna do then is just focus on the fun and get whatever little crumbs you're gonna throw my way, and I'm gonna do that forever because there are old hoes who can still make $50 giving you a blowjob, right? She's basically, that's what I said, pessimistic. She's basically like scorched earth. There's no such thing as love for me anymore. There's no such thing as security for me anymore. I give up on it all.
But I don't. Okay, so I don't disagree with that. But I think when I say Hail Mary pass, what I'm saying is I'm not expecting this to be rational. So I agree that this is the scorched earth. If I can't have what I want, then screw it all. But I'm saying that that's coming from that she's doing the, if I can't have anything, if I can't have what I want, I don't care about how this goes. But it is coming from a place of pessimism. Like, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, like, this is her, maybe, because I don't think anybody ever really is fully 100% hopeless, right? I don't think this is 100% hopeless. I think there's a percent of like, but maybe this can backdoor my way into that guy. That's why she's on this show in the first place. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, she's not though, because she literally said it. She said she's not looking for anything. Actually,
I don't believe her on that. I think that's the disconnect. Yeah, I don't believe her when she said that.
No, but see, you can't just do that, and I don't understand why men do that. Right? You can't just dismiss everything she says to fit into a different narrative. She gave us her narrative. So we have to work with the narrative she gave us. And the narrative that she gave us, where she's at right now, right? She doesn't want a man to care about her kids, to know about her kids, to even really meet her kids. And she doesn't even care what he's got going on, as long as it's not going to bring direct pain or trauma to her life, like crazy baby mama is trying to search her down and stuff. She don't care if you're married. She don't care if you have a bunch of kids. She don't care about any of that, as long as it doesn't directly impact her. And she doesn't care if you like kids. She doesn't care if you got money to take care of the kids. She doesn't care about any of that, right? So she outlined all of these things very clearly. And I'm telling you that when women are at a Hail Mary kind of place, this is it for me. I have 10 seconds to lock something down. They look for a permanent solution. Right now, I'm not saying that permanent solution would be necessarily, she would be saying, I'm looking for a husband, but she'd be looking for a man. And she's not looking
Ruby,
for a man.
She already told us she's full of crap when she got asked the question, and she was like, "Well, no, I'm self-pleasing. Like, we already knew she was full of shit. So, like, you're telling me to believe her narrative and what she's saying, but she already told us she's full of crap. She got caught up already in the questioning, and it didn't even take a full 10 minutes, and she got caught up. So, like, that's why I'm like, I don't believe her when she said that. And because you
have to look at consistency. And so it's not just about believing one statement, because the statement, whether you pull them out of context or you put it into context of everything else she says, including what she's been caught on, and what the reality is that it actually is very consistent with a woman who has fully given up, who is not considering anything, and is not at the Hail Mary place. Yeah, she's nowhere near it. And actually that's consistent with what we know about what's happening in modern society in general, because modern society is telling women, right?
Mm-hmm.
35 is no longer geriatric pregnancy. Actually, now you have to be at 39 for the doctors to start calling you geriatric. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're seeing goddamn stars at 46 and 52 having babies. We're seeing women who are in their mid to late 40s, like Judge Faith, getting married to high value men. So women don't have the pressure that they had 30 years ago in their mid 30s. They actually really don't. Right. So they actually, she's not actually, as much as,
Does this
in
speak to
these spaces are
the
saying
delusion,
it.
Ruby?
Well, it's not even necessarily just delusion. It's not even just delusion, because the thing is, with our advances in modern, science and technology, yeah, it's harder to have a baby in your 30s than it is in your early 20s. Of course it is, right? But is it the kind of risk that it used to be? No, the risk has gone significantly down. Is it actually irrational these days to be thinking in your mid 30s or even early 40s that you're going to get married? No, my mom got remarried at 42. And she's been with her husband for a long time, and he's a plumber making really good money. See, the thing is, right, is what women are actually seeing in reality, right? Like, forget the high value man talk, because that's normally what we're focusing on, is women talking about the high value man. When we're talking about the rest of women, the rest of society, is people who are like, well, I'm just looking for something that's good for me, right? There's those limitations aren't there on women. They're not there on women the way
so
men
this
think
is a
there
question
are.
of perception, because at least in America, I don't know so much about Canada, but marriage is at a 150-year low here. The birth rate is falling off of a cliff. So like women, and I agree with you. So women it's at 1.7. We all know you need 2.1 for replacement level. So women are seeing some of these celebrities, and even like you gave your story of your mother. So we see, so that does happen. So that's clear. But at least when you take a wider scope view of what's actually going on, it's not happening, and that's the whole point. Like it's happening for this one individual here, and maybe that one individual all the way down the street, and maybe that one in another state, but the overall numbers just paint a different picture. So and I agree with you on science changing the age for children, all of that stuff. That's 100% true. But men are clearly showing with their actions what we won't tolerate in large aggregate. And I think and this goes back to what I was saying about probability versus possibility. I think women look at the one-off situation and be like, well, it could happen. They're like, yeah, it could happen, but look at the numbers.
Did you watch the show last week?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay,
No,
I'm gonna tell you, because here's the thing, right? So you've got different narratives depending on what group of men you're talking to. So, for example, in these streets, right, you hear a lot about, well, men don't care about your education, right? They just want a woman who's fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive. That's all they're looking for, right? And then you've also got high value men who are objectively high value men who are saying, the hell do I care about a chick who's gonna be submissive and cook for me and spread her legs? Like, who cares about that? I've been having that, brah. I need a woman who can add value. You need to add value with your intelligence, with your, yeah, I actually care about her education. Yeah, I actually care. So the thing is, right, is now, I'm not saying there's not a segment of men who think a certain way, but that segment of men doesn't actually represent even the majority, because you got men. Generally, I'm going to say this, we have a general issue where men generally, overall, are saying, I'm looking for a particular thing I'm having difficulty finding. But what they're all looking for, that's where I think we have a disconnect, where the men are saying something that the women are not seeing happen in reality. And that's just what it is. I mean, at one point, the honest truth, he did it. He set up a profile on like Tinder or whatever it was, right? And it was like he used a picture of a woman who was older and overweight. Right. And then named her as being older, used that she had a bunch of kids and whatever. And like the amount of messages coming into this woman, insane, absolutely insane. How many messages in a very short period of time. The reality that women are actually facing is different than the reality men think women are facing.
But that's
right.
not what the numbers are saying.
Yeah,
Like
no. What the
150
numbers are saying
I'm
is
sorry.
this. The numbers are saying two different things. And it drives me crazy that people don't see this. Because first of all, the 1 in 4 women getting married, that is actually flawed. You can go look at it and actually look at the diagram, look at the statistics. The statistics are that, yes, over 50% of Black women get married. 52% of Black women get married, whereas 48% of Black men get married. So that's the thing number one. Thing number two, though, which everyone isn't paying attention to, right, is that we have, first of all, we had the boomer generation, right? And that we always knew that the boomer generation and having so many of them was going to skew statistics and screw up statistics for Generation X and millennials because there were so many of them. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, though, here's the important thing. Millennials are doing better. And I'm going to explain how they're doing better. Right? The divorce rate is up so high because of older people who are 50s and 60s getting divorced. Whereas in millennials, they are taking longer to get married. That's what's dropping the actual marriage rate, but they aren't getting divorced. They aren't getting their divorce
because who's
rate
getting married, Ruby? No, because you said this
but,
to BGS once, and I'm sorry for I'm sorry. I'm gonna move you in like 60 seconds. You said this to be. I listened to the show where you said this to BGS, and I missed it, but I listened to it later, and I wanted to respond to when you said that to BGS because you were right about that. But the reason why the divorce rate for us is lower is because less of us are getting married.
No, but that doesn't make sense. No, explain. No, I want you to explain that one statement right there. Let me ask you a question. Okay, if there's a divorce rate that is 50%. On average, 50% of people get divorced. That's the divorce rate, right? Yep. Then if we look at a population of 100,000 people, 50,000 people should get divorced in that population, right? 100,000 people, married couples, 50,000 of them should get divorced, right? If we look at a population of 1,000 people, 500 people should get divorced, right?
Yes,
because that's how statistics work. It doesn't matter how big or small the group is. It doesn't matter how big or small the group that you're looking at of married people, whether it's 10,000 married people or 5,000 married people or 100 married people, the statistic should still apply, which means that on average in that group, whether we're talking about 100,000 people or 10,000 married people, 50% of them should get divorced. If the number is statistically significantly above or below that, but it doesn't matter who is getting married.
Yes, it does, Ruby.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, no, it does. In America, it does.
What matters for statistics
go ahead. I'm sorry.
What matters about statistics is what percentage of the given people who got married are getting divorced. That's what the statistic is talking about.
Give me a chance to get this out. The issue that we have with these numbers, number one, is once you get under Xers, so young Xers, millennials, but definitely millennials, the divorce rate is lower for us because the particular people that are getting married are mainly, and actually they did a segment on this, and I don't have a problem sending the link for this. Breaking Points did a segment on this of essentially there was a book that came out maybe like 4 or 5 years ago called Dream Hoarders, and it was written by Richard Reeves, and he was saying that the top 20% aren't just hoarding the money, right? They're hoarding all the dreams and opportunities and aspirations. Now, fast forward 5-6 years later after his book was published, and by the way, he works for the Brookings Institute, what we're finding out is that these people are hoarding the damn marriages too. So those are the people that are the least likely to get divorced. That's the reason why the divorce rate is so much lower. It's because we, especially in a capitalist society, we pretty much put a price tag on everything, including marriage. And the people that are the least likely to get divorced are the people that are getting married. So that is what the reason why the divorce rate is lower. It's not because these people. Wait, let me land. Okay, go ahead. It's not that these people have a better character or that poorer people have a character flaw or any of that. It's that you literally gave the upper middle class, so about the top 25% or so, you gave them the ability to get married and then stay married. And everybody else, remember, one of the number one reasons for divorce in America is finances. So when regular people get married, they're more likely to get divorced. So they're not getting married. And by the way, they're least likely to have children also. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Cool. So even when controlling for socioeconomic status, millennials are still only getting divorced at a near 30% rate in comparison to over a 50% rate in older generations. So regardless of socioeconomic status, because this is the problem that people don't do. They don't look at the statistics and the research when it is broken down by different groups. And so they hear someone talk about something and it sounds great. Yeah, that's true. Look, way more rich people are able to get married and then not have finances be a problem. Absolutely true. However, doesn't matter socioeconomic status, doesn't matter. The millennials and younger are still getting married, maybe poor people and middle class people are getting married less than the rich people, although there's way less rich people. So therefore, again, proportions. But anyway, the point is that when they do, their divorce rate is significantly down, even when looking at factors like socioeconomic status, when looking at factors like race. Okay, so what we have to do is look at the reality that yes, millennials aren't getting married as much as previous generations did,
Not even
as early.
close.
They are waiting till far later in life. The thing is, most of the millennials are not even completely at the average age, marrying age for millennials. That's number one. Number two, though, is when they are getting married, they are making better decisions. And so therefore, the marriages aren't breaking up even half as fast. Even in older age categories, you would think by the time you're 50 years old, right, you should know how to pick them by now. But no, their divorce rate is really high. And that's what's skewing the numbers so high upwards, is that their divorce rate is massively high. Whereas in the millennials is so much lower. So millennials are making better choices when it comes to marriage.
I think it's money situations. And at the end of the day, my argument is that when you have a group of people, when you put a price tag on everything in a hyper capitalist society, that trickles down past just your economics, right? And so what you have, and I would argue is what we're seeing now, is that in what you conceded is that richer people, upper middle class and above, or somewhere near upper middle class and above, are the people that are pretty much getting married. And they're the ones that are the least likely to get divorced. So when you then focus on the divorce rate, right? My apologies. But yeah, when you then focus on the divorce rate and you notice that after a certain age, so once you get under the age of 40 or 42, those people are so much less likely to get divorced. It goes to reason that that's because the people that are getting married in that cohort are the upper middle class people that are so much less likely to get divorced. And the people that wouldn't be getting married maybe 2 generations ago, poor, middle class, working class people, they're less likely to get married, which means that
I said we're controlling for socioeconomic status. When I say when you control for socioeconomic
yes, I
status,
know what it means. I know
right?
what it means.
Okay, well then,
means.
if you know what it
So
means, then you understand why it is that your statement is invalid.
No, my statement. You know what? What I will do is maybe if Char has this again, I'll have all the links available so that we can go through it and then show.
All you've got to do is this. Okay,
Mhm.
you have to look at the research breakdown when they break it down according to socioeconomic status. Because once you look at the breakdown of marriages and divorce according to socioeconomic status, then you will see 2 things, which is yes, according to socioeconomic status, the richer you are, the more likely you are to have gotten married earlier and in a larger frequency than the poorer you are. But with that being said, when you look at the divorce rate is still significantly down in middle class and impoverished and every socioeconomic class within the millennial groups and younger, which is telling us that they are making better marriage choices, period.
Hey, Captain, let me say this right quick. Hey, Ruby, I know you ain't questioning the GOAT, Kevin Samuels, on this. Nah, he pretty much broke this down already.
Well, if you're going to talk about Kevin Samuels, Kevin Samuels says that Black women only get married at a rate of 25%. That only 1 in 4 Black women will get married in a lifetime, despite the fact that the statistic he's referencing on Black demographics literally says that 52% of Black women have gotten married. Literally says that.
Ruby, I will cash out Char Channel 300 if you go live with him on his Instagram show.
No, thank you.
This. I
would. No, you know better.
Ruby makes a good point about after a certain age, the Black women's marriage rate does go up significantly. That's a fact. So she does have a point there, and because and this is where we get into like when you omit certain things. This is why you have to have a holistic view of these things and have them in context when you do research like this. Because if you just say that and people eat that up, they think that's to death, right? Like only 25% of Black women will ever get married throughout their lifetime, and that's not necessarily true. Right.
Well, it's not true in the fact that 52% of Black women currently are married. And the statistic that he was using was that statistic. Now, the problem is that if you're not reading it correctly, right, and you're just taking the 25% of people who are still married, right? So there's only 25% of marriages are currently happily successful. But you have to take into account the people who got married but got divorced, the people who got married but are widowed, and the people who got married but are currently separated legally, right?
Yeah,
so those are still people who got married. So therefore, people are still going to get married. So but the problem is that because people are misunderstanding the statistic and passing it around incorrectly, what they are saying is that only 1 in 4 women are going to get married in a lifetime, and then 50% of those are going to divorce. So only 13% of women are going to stay married. No, what it's saying is only 25% of women are going to stay married throughout a lifetime, right? The other 25%, or so actually a little bit more than that, 27% of women will get widowed, divorced, or be currently separated. Right, that's what the actual statistics say to us, and so I think it's important for us to know what it actually
I thought it was
says.
just divorced and widowed.
No, it has divorced, separated, and widowed, and then obviously married. So those three, and that's on Black demographics. Because I'm one of those people. If you're going to give me something like the statistics or whatever, here's where I found it. I went and looked, and I went, wait a minute. Well, it says 25 married,
Yes,
and it says
I read that also, so that's why I
40%
agreed with you.
divorced.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay, it says 48% of Black men are married in total, right? And then 52% of them have never been married, whereas in 48% of Black women have never been married. Okay, well then we've got a little bit of a confusion here, and it just drives me crazy when people misuse the numbers, because then even when I agree with your point, right, the overall point you're making, I can't agree if you then throw in false statistics or bastardized statistics. So. Because I'm a researcher. That's my job. That's what I do. That's what my training is in. I conduct research and I analyze the statistics. I have the program on my laptop right now. I know how to do all of the calculations myself. I know how to look for statistical significance and to weigh the confidence intervals and everything, right? So I mean, that's what I do. So research is really important to me.
I would say this. I like to say this. Definitely, yeah. I feel this. Perhaps not the whole truth when I looked into it myself, and like you say, when you factor those other things into it, that definitely has to be factored into, and it definitely has a play in it. But it's safe to say, especially coming off the 60s and 70s, Black marriage is on the decline. So either way,
all marriage is on the decline, and I think that
would be
So because I stress that all the time, and when we get into the conversation about marriage, and this is something that I think I bought into this space, is Black people are ahead of the curve in America when it comes to a lot of the what we would call social degradation and all this stuff that's going on because of the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow, and how that pretty much made us the canary in the coal mine for almost everything negative socially, right? So Latinos are not that far behind us, believe it or not, and white people are also not that far behind us, and it's going to eventually hit East and South American Asians, so like I think it's difficult for a lot of Black people to conceptualize that, because we've been taught to always insult, belittle each other under the guise of constructive criticism. And so when I present this information, everybody just looks down longingly at other groups of people like, no, look, the Asians are doing great, and the white people and everybody's doing great, and we're garbage. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Well, remember, it is the upper middle class.
Well,
the upper middle class and white people's birth rate is damn near negative at this point. So I mean,
thank you.
Even with them being married. In fact, if anything, and actually it's interesting because like the evolution of humans from 10,000 years ago, I was saying this earlier, that your life cycle sets differently. If you are born and raised into total comfort and peace and harmony and safety and security, right, your life cycle strategy would tell your body to start your puberty later, to start your sexual interest later, to start you having sex later, and to actually for you to look for safety and security and all those things before having children, to find one mate who's of the like mind, and then for you to have less children and to invest a lot into each individual child. That is literally actually what our biology tells us to do. So this is why you see in poverty, even though it seems to not make any sense at all, right? People who are in poverty will have 10, 12 children. People who are super rich will have one, right? And it's like, it seems like, no, it should be reversed, right? You're super rich, you have 10 kids. You're in poverty, you have one. But no, it's actually an evolved mechanism. We think it's like socialized. It's not. It's an evolved mechanism, and society is capitalizing on that.
even with that, Ruby, the black birth rate in America is below replacement levels also. So like every hood chick that you see with like 6 kids from 5 different dudes, there's like 5 or 6 or 7 LaQuishas that actually don't have kids, believe it or not. Like and a lot of people struggle with that. I'm like, nigga, the birth rate for black Americans is like 1.8 or something, 1.8 or 1.9. It wasn't
Well, yeah.
1 or 2 1. So like that goes to show, like, and I'm saying that, to somewhat vindicate us, because oftentimes people still using the same old welfare queen talking points towards black people, black women specifically. And I'm like, yeah, that's not actually what's going on. I don't know if you've been paying attention for the past 30 years, but that's not what's going on, right? So like, I'm in agreement with you.
No,
because,
I agree. I agree with that.
I'm
Like,
agree with you. Yeah.
when I said what I said, here's the thing: the reason why our birth rate is going down is actually because more of us have gotten out of poverty and are desperate to stay out of it. And so even when more of us are actually fighting against the evolved mechanism that tells us, stay where we were born, and just, and we're using socialization cues instead, and saying, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. If I want to get out of poverty, the worst thing I could do is have 7 kids. So maybe I should have none and be almost terrified of having kids. But then, there's the flip side to that.
Exactly. I was about to bring that up. Go ahead. Go into that.
because of that flip side, unfortunately, right? They're so afraid to have kids. They're so afraid of commitment. They're so afraid of these things that they're just waiting and waiting and waiting for the perfect this and the perfect that.
Hoping
they don't mean any of that. It's just all fear, right? It's all 100% fear that they're functioning on, right? That's why you have women who have lists that makes no sense at all. And even if you knew these women, you'd be like, that doesn't seem like you'd even be happy with that, right? But it's not about the list. They don't care about the list at all. The list is just it's armor. It's armor, so that way they don't have to open up. They don't have to let go. They don't have to get married, have a couple of children, get abandoned, and be a single mom, and be a statistic.
Actually meets the list. The one rare occasion when they meet the man that meets the list, what happens?
No, then it'll change. See, this is the problem,
the bar
right?
moves up.
Yeah, right. Because they're scared, and I understand this though too, because I know women, right, black women especially, who have gotten themselves into this position where either they are single or married, single but in a long-term relationship, or married, and then they get pregnant, and then the man leaves for whatever reason, and that's what they're focused on. I didn't want to be a statistic. I worked so hard not to be a statistic. Now I'm going to be a statistic. And it's devastating and heartbreaking, because unlike white people don't understand what it is to work your whole life to not be a statistic, right? We understand, for some of us, right, we were born in the in-between, or we were born at the bottom. And so we've been terrified our whole lives of becoming one of those statistic girls, right? Especially women. We don't want to have children out of wedlock. We don't want our husband to run out on us. We actually don't want those things. And you're seeing a lot of noise and bravado, right? When women are pretending they don't care about stuff like that, they do. They care, but what are you supposed to do? Once it happened, it happened.
We care.
Right?
You have no control over. That's the whole thing. You have absolutely no control over whether the man leaves or not. I mean, you think you're in a committed relationship. You think that you guys are gonna, go the long haul, and for whatever reason it happens, you break up, then you do become that statistic. At any given moment, we are a statistic. As we're breathing and speaking right now, we are a statistic.
I agree.
It's going to take me some time to put something together, because what I wanted to do is discuss that, but not just bringing up stuff, just actually pointing out some things. Because what choices do you have? Because people on YouTube say something, so I'm just going to stay in an abusive relationship. Because people say something on YouTube and Twitter or whatever, I'm going to stay because I'm going to be in that number that they're talking about. That's, a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
I think I'm sticking around for things like that. But I want to move on, because we got really less than an hour, but I'll make it an hour. We have Vonda that donated, and she has made Sheed sing. So Sheed, hit it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice. Nice.
Everything everything you just said is 100% correct. And I think men also, to give the man's perspective, we also don't want to be statistic. Black men specifically, upwardly mobile black men, we consider this shit too. And we often have these conversations. I think what we're getting to is the vulnerability of being in a relationship and the other person having a certain level of power to torpedo it. Right. And And a lot what we're doing, and I agree with Ruby so much on this one. What we're doing is trying to make all of these cultural shields, these economic shields, we're putting the bar so high so that pretty much no one can meet it. And if they do actually meet it, and we actually settle with them, it's like, okay, this person will never do this because it's impossible. And then if they do it, motherfucker be on suicide watch, right?
Right.
Because you put the bar so high, you met the person, y'all coupled up, and now everything you fought for, you're 38, you're 42, and everything you thought you built is, it's a house of cards. But one of the things that I go to, right? The Mary J. Blige Not Gonna Cry, right? And she said a line in that song, which is like, she knew it wasn't guaranteed. And I think people really struggle with the fact when you're dealing with another person, there is no guarantees. When you're there's no guarantees. There's all of this is a big ass gamble. Go ahead.
Mr. Z, not on YouTube. It's a
right.
There's
Exactly.
no guarantee that the person won't die and leave you a single parent.
True.
They could choke. And then you're like, oh no, now I'm a statistic. You know?
Yeah. There's no all of this is a big gamble. And I think that's something, and this speaks to what Ruby was saying, the risk adverse nature of younger Xers, millennials, and older Zs. And I get it because we watched our parents bust their ass, and then the financial crisis happened, and we watched parents lose their homes, right? We watched the .com bubble, we watched the housing recession, now we're watching COVID, and it just shook us to the core to be like, God damn, I could lose everything in a matter of a few months, right? So like that scares.
Lost it.
Yeah, true. And so when you look at relationships then, and you look at your parents who might have got divorced, or your aunts and uncles who might have got divorced, they really did a disservice for the concept of marriage, right? And I think when your children who are now adults, me and Ruby's age, when we now get into the dating world and the marriage world, we're risk adverse to what we witnessed our parents and our elders go through. And I think when you look at the male and female space, all the swirler divester shit, all the red pill stuff, I think that's just a bunch of adults responding to, it's a temper tantrum because you don't know what to do.
I think that's perfect. A tantrum. I like that one. Let me continue this video.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we went on a tangent for like an hour and a half.
I just watched and listened. I'm like, I'm just going to see if it's going to swing back around. Never did. So let's
probably starting up her champagne. Being like,
yeah, I just started that.
So to be clear, when's the last time you had sexual intercourse with a man?
Excuse me, 18 months ago.
Oh, so 18 months ago. So your porn job, your adult entertainment
18
job
months
is all about you.
I'm gonna address that in a minute.
Pleasing yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so now we understand. Okay, there you go. Thank you for the clarity, girl, because we was really.
I'm sorry, baby.
We was confused the way you was talking. All right.
I done had that one. I'm sorry.
Janika, how old does the guy have to be?
Okay, so don't judge me, but I'm gonna say from 35 on up. I ain't gonna give him an age limit.
Okay, you gonna give an age limit?
Nope.
Okay, so 35, you would date somebody 70?
I sure will.
Oh,
I take care of them too. I sure will. I take care of them. I sure will.
Okay, all right.
I do.
That's just about the DM her.
It ain't about that. It's not. Like I said, I need a best friend. Like he can be in a wheelchair.
Didn't you say this earlier?
I'll wipe his bottom. Not being nasty or nothing. But I'll be that one. Like I'm that one. I don't judge nobody for nothing. Like we all need somebody. I done been in a wheelchair before, so we all need somebody. So that's me.
Okay.
Very humble.
Okay.
Very, very humble.
Very humble.
Very humble.
Okay.
Yes.
Janika, does the guy have to be in Cincinnati?
He sure don't. He don't. I'm ready to go. Where you at, baby? Let's go. Yes. He don't.
Do you want any more kids?
No. I mean, he got some. No. I had 3 C-sections. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So
no more babies.
So, she wants no more kids. So this is Janika. She is a carpenter. She works in construction and is an adult entertainment too. We have learned that her adult entertainment is being filmed pleasing herself. She is a Scorpio, 37.
Filmed in the
3
CBS
kids,
studios.
and she would date between 35 to, she'll go up to 70.
Infinity.
She would date
35 to infinity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
35
care.
to dust.
It doesn't matter. As long as he's not a kid, he's not a kid. Maturity. I just need some maturity and some mindfulness.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I'm gonna start using mindful, yo.
Janika, last question for you.
Maybe she can date Jermaine Jackson.
To be with you.
Because I am fun. I am absolutely fun. You come around me, you're going to have fun. I know you're gonna let me have it, but please don't let me have it. Hold on. I wish I could show you. I can't show you right now. Just go on my page or whatever.
What you want to show
I'm
us?
fun. I wanted to show you my house. Like, I wanted to show you what I be doing. Like, if I can't get outside, girl, I done made my whole porch Hawaii. You know, I got I got a hot tub in the back. You know, you see, man, I'm just always doing something. Like, if I can't get out the house, we're gonna have some fun. We're really gonna have some fun. We're gonna build some stuff. We're gonna make some money. I can build a house from the ground up.
Okay.
Lawn care, all that. Like, I'm her. I am. I know I was drinking my little wine. I didn't think you was gonna pick me, and I love you, but yeah, I'm her. Like, I'm interior design. I do interior design
to be on a radio show.
I do a lot of stuff. Like,
that's
I
right,
do.
brother.
Like, I really, really do. Like, you know, just be. I'm just me. I'm me.
He likes
Take me as I am, and I take you as you is. You know what I'm saying? That's who I am. I'm sorry I messed up the little light or whatever, trying to show you some little stuff. But yeah, I am who I am.
Okay.
That's who I am. Like, you know, don't take me for my body. That's why I ain't got no pictures on Instagram.
Okay, lady, you're rambling.
Don't take me for my body. Like, take me for my mind. That's all I'm asking for. Like, to take me for my mind. You know.
Now listen, I'm going to challenge that though, because it's hard. I think if you work in the industry, for someone to not maybe take you for your body immediately.
I can let that go. That can all be let go. My face is not showing at all. You don't see this.
Oh.
You don't see none of this.
So you don't see none of that. It's just okay.
No.
Okay.
So you just told people about it.
Mindful. Just because I do find me a husband, you know, he's not gonna want to be with me if I'm out there like that. But I had to do something. You know, I have a life story, but I had to do something to provide for these children.
Story is the new way we're gonna say story, yo.
Somebody for so long, and I've learned to get my own now. You know, depending on somebody for so many years, and they just up and leave.
Damn, Vonda was right again.
Nothing. What are you gonna do? And I'm sorry I had to use my body, but now I'm using my mind. So no neck on that. You know, it's neck down. It is what it is.
Okay.
Right? You know, we all do things.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's do it. This is Janika, Cincinnati, Ohio, 37, is a Scorpio, 3 kids. She has 3 jobs: a carpenter,
Scorpio, Ohio.
and she works in the adult entertainment industry. All right, give them your Instagram name.
Phoenix the Sun.
Phoenix the Sun. Phoenix the Sun. Let me write this down, child. Phoenix.
I think that's what it is. I think I just made this page. I think it's Phoenix the Sun.
It's Phoenix the Sun.
Damn, Vonda, you was right again. God damn.
With 2 N's on Sun.
I'm telling y'all.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on, babe. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
How you don't even remember your damn porn name?
I appreciate it.
All right, bye, baby girl.
Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you, and God bless you. I'm praying for you and your family.
I appreciate that.
I pray for you tomorrow. Thank you, baby.
Dang.
That's what I was thinking. She's been doing this for a year, and we've been in a pandemic for what year? Almost 2 years. You know, we've been in the pandemic. So with all those jobs she had, I'm sure those jobs dried up.
Outside.
And then that man left her like right at the start of this pandemic, apparently, according to her, you know, if they've been broken up for about 2 years. And so now she's supplementing her income because she can't get no carpentry or construction jobs. She's supplementing her income, and she's looking for somebody from the age of 35 to infinity. So exactly. So in that range, she's not saying, I'm looking for, he got to have, 6-pack abs and he got to be 6'7" and he's got to make this amount of money. She's looking for a steady. And you were right, Ruby. She is thinking that eventually she does want to entwine herself with a man in a regular relationship, because she's saying, hey, I'm doing this sex thing, but I ain't putting my face out there because he ain't going to want no woman whose face and her puss has been all out open like that. If she just has the bottom half, maybe she's thinking it won't be too easy to connect the face with the bottom half, but she didn't told everybody, so now they know. I mean, so I don't know where the secret is, but she's not looking for like I said, 6'7". He has to have tight abs. She says she's looking for somebody in a wheelchair. He can be in a wheelchair. She don't discriminate.
Okay, get him a
but
check.
She's not saying a wheelchair with empty pockets.
Right.
She's looking for someone with some money, and you know what?
You said it earlier, right?
Like
Sponsor.
Have millions. He's just got to have more money than her that he's willing to part with. He's just going to have money that he's willing to part with. Really that simple. You could be a broke man, be willing to part with your SSI, if that's what you're doing. She don't care. She'll take it. I agree. She'll just take it. That's what she wants.
Can we also... I mean, isn't it? It really is, especially post-pandemic. But can we also talk about, and this is earlier I said this, the year and a half. So let's assume she's telling the truth. Year and a half, no sex. And when I was in the dating scene, I was running into women, and I believed them, that hadn't had sex in 2 years. 4 years was the longest I heard, and I believed her. I actually, and being in the manosphere, we'd be skeptical as hell. But I believed her when she said 4 years because of certain markers and certain other things she had said that let me know, like, yeah, you in that temper tantrum with the universe age group where you like, well, if I can't have what I want, like I said earlier, then I won't do shit, right? So can we speak about that, like millennials and I don't know about Gen Z so much, but especially for me and Ruby's age, millennials that are like going like a year plus with no sex, and it's not so much about the sex, right? The intimacy. So just here, sex is a catch-all for like a lack of intimacy and connecting with the opposite sex in that way. Can we speak about that? Like, just going a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years, no sex.
What is specific that you have to ask?
What do we think about that? I think is people going over a year with no sex and no real intimacy and connecting with the opposite. About it?
Because you had to experience someone telling you.
Believe
her.
No, I did believe her. When she told me that, I was like, wow, like, okay. So you moved from New York to back to Miami, and you're going through it, and you're living back with your parents, and I mean, no sex, no intimacy. You're in the dating scene, kind of, sort of. Your bar is extremely super dumb high. I mean, is this you really like I said earlier, throwing a temper tantrum because you can't get what you want? Is that you like holding off, like you're not, okay, I'm not going to open my legs? And I mean, that was my take on when the young lady told me that a couple years ago. But
I just think she's lying. And here's the thing. So I want to, I do. So this chick right here, hold on.
Into that, Ruby. Go ahead.
Hold on. So look at this comment right here, right? She needs help, not criticism. Tell me what help this 37-year-old woman needs. So please tell me, what help does a 37-year-old woman with 3 different trades and 2 teenagers and a 10-year-old need from you or me or any of us? What help does she need? She doesn't need help. What help? No, she needs criticism, because apparently, and here's the thing, it does happen. I've seen it happen before, right? Where again, a lot of your identity can get tied up. I mean, especially as women, we do deeply tie our identity to things like virtue and attractiveness and how, the world treats us. And part of that is evolution, and part of that is social programming. And so, we were talking about this earlier. Well, Black women and the statistics and wanting to avoid being the statistic. Let's pretend for a second that she was one of those women that wants to avoid being a statistic. The thing is, a lot of people get disappointed very early on because you have the teenage hormones rushing through you, and then you find your first love, and then you give up some of your integrity, and then you find out he's just going to leave you anyway, and then that can drive you to do all kinds of different things. And then she has these 3 kids with this man she got married to, whatever, and he left for whatever reason. We don't know. He left her, abandoned with these 3 kids. Right? In her 30s, her sexual marketplace value is now way lower than it was. You know, her body is never going to be what it used to be, et cetera, et cetera. Then she finds a man who is in love and and she thinks, oh my God, I found the right guy. Oh no, he's a pedophile. Right? So, I mean, she's at this place now, right, where she's in her mid to late 30s. Yes, life sometimes hurts. It disappoints us, but she has all the faculties in place for her to make good decisions. She decides instead that she's going to put her puss on porn and sell it for OnlyFans, and then look for
put puss on porn,
right, and then look for some sponsors. Realistically, that deserves criticism at this point. She's not a child. Okay, this is not a child who got caught up. This is not a child who didn't have any other, things to do. This is not even like an older housewife who had no skills or abilities and then, got abandoned by her husband. And now she's like, man, well, working at McDonald's is the only job I can get, and that's not feeding the kids. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay? This deserves criticism, like stark criticism, because I'm tired
You're
of
going against the sisterhood right now, Ruby.
I'm always going against his sister. I'm going against everyone. That's why everyone calls me names. But I'm okay with that. So here's the thing. And it drives me absolutely crazy. Okay. Women throw away their own values and integrity and whatever all the time because they are disappointed by what life does to them. Okay. They are hurt. I get it. I've been there. I've been the one who got devastated by life and contemplated throwing away everything because who cares? You can never win anyway.
Yes,
who cares? They're all going to disappoint you anyway. Who cares? Who cares? Right? What we can't do is take this woman who's done that and then go, yay, kudos to her. Good job adding a 4th hustle of selling your puss online. Good job, girl. At 30 said that was a great decision. No, it wasn't. It was a horrible decision. What she's doing now is horrible. She needs to pull back. She needs to take some accountability and responsibility for the decisions she's made, right? And you also have to separate, don't take accountability for parts that aren't your fault, right? Because you can't necessarily choose for someone to leave or to stay. They're going to make their own decisions, but maybe did you make some bad decisions about who you chose to marry anyway? Was it made on maybe some bad premises? Did you give up on yourself or on the marriage? Did you forget to actually work hard in a marriage, etc., right? With the choosing skill, listen, you draw in what you put out into the world. Did you put out a bunch of broken, hurt, desperate signals that allowed a predator to spot you and say, oh, there's my prey? Well, yeah, probably, right? So you got to pull out of this whole dating thing. You got to pull out of selling your post online. You got to pull out of all of that and take some time to heal. That's what it comes to. You have to take some time to heal, go to therapy, do some self-work. Right? This is why you see women after a big divorce or whatever, they change their hair color, they start working out, they drop 50 pounds. There's a reason for that, right? You got to get back into touch with yourself and feeling good about yourself. And for women, them looking good on the outside affects how they feel on the inside, right? Feeding yourself well, right? Bonding with your kids. That's what she needs to do. So that way she's ready for her to go out and find a husband. She is way too old, and this is way too pathetic for her to be turning herself out at 36, 37 years old looking for friends with her 3 kids. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Well, I must say I do agree with you. She is too old to, go down the whole lane. I mean, it's like, but you know what? I can never profess to know what's going on in another person's life and the reason that they make the choices that they make. But you know what? I was looking at this and just thinking, she's been doing this for a year. And in that year, that 12 months, she has done absolutely nothing to perfect this craft. So I can just imagine what she looked like a year ago when she started, because she's not quite there. She hasn't quite made it. So it just seems to me like she's she's at the point where she's just like, you know what, I'll just take anything that I can get if it's decent and it's willing to, you know, be my friend with a dollar sign.
Air quotes friend.
Yeah, I did that. I did my fingers too. Yeah, so if you can find a friend that's willing to, you know, part with their SSI money, you know, and if they're in a wheelchair, so what? You know, she's like, hey, I'll push you around. Doesn't matter. You know, and she made it very clear. They don't have to be here because you don't have to be in the same city with someone to get some money from them. You know, so it doesn't look like she's actually looking for, like, you know, someone to be with, just someone to, like, you know, sponsor her because she needs the money. She's looking for someone to sponsor her. It doesn't sound like she's trying to bring anybody into the house, you know, bring anybody to be with her.
Exactly.
You know,
that was the point I was making. Yep.
But she's thinking, you know, at some point she may find someone. So I'm not going to put my face in it. I'll just put the neck down. So when I do meet, you know, somebody, they won't be like, oh no, my woman got, you know, her face and puss all over the internet. So she's like, oh no, not the face, just the puss. You know,
let's not forget she just exposed herself just now, whatever.
Well, you know, I think probably she's just not in the best state of mind. And
I agree.
It's a half a good idea. Oh, I get some people to see me so they can come over to my site so I get some money. But not thinking of they see my face now. But then again, she's probably like, well, they see my face and maybe they really come over. But
that's the Hail Mary pass I was speaking about, Ruby.
Expose yourself. Now, as far as her decision, whatever you want to look at, morality, whatever you want to look up, that's her choice. If that's what she wants to do. A lot of people found themselves doing a lot of different things when they didn't have that income in the house, whether it was theirs or from the person that was with them that was taking care of the bills. And now that part, I do believe that once the guy income was gone, her and the 3 boys, she was like, shoot.
She gets
real. More than like, yeah. A lot of time, the guy, he would leave. It ain't, you know, we ain't together no more, but I'm going to give you something. You know what that give you something means? That damn give you something don't mean nothing. It's just, that's why a lot of times women are so angry because they looking like, you don't give me $100? I got 3 children. These are your children. This is all you think of.
Yeah, she can't. It's not an option for her to say, well, I ain't got it so the kids can't eat. You know, the kids are right there hungry, right in her face. You know, that dude is off wherever he is. So she's trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah, but she don't have babies. She don't have babies. She don't have little babies. Here's the thing. My friend who's a stripper, who's not a stripper anymore, by the way. But when she was, it's because she got pregnant at 14 and had her kid when she was barely not even 15 yet. Okay. So you know what, realistically, and she was in a bad life situation. Her parents were both alcoholics. I mean, they were, but they're still functional alcoholics. She ended up getting pulled into the system countless times, right? She was not doing well in school and she fell through the cracks because no one cared to teach her basic math, basic English, basic stuff. So now you got all these issues. Right. And then you've got a 15, 16-year-old with a baby and a no count Asian dad who, like, he's kind of there, but he's mostly not because he's also 14, 15, doesn't know what the hell he's doing and doesn't want the responsibility. And so she started stripping because how else do you make enough money to feed a kid and pay for a house and whatever when you're not legal? Well, you're not legal to strip either. But guess what? You know what? They don't look too hard. You can find yourself one of them. Get someone else's stripper's license. You look like that person, so you can walk into the club and dance. Yeah, I'm 18, I'm 19, whatever the stage says. And then there you go. That's how she got into stripping, right? And see, now I understand that, and that's what I said. If she was young, I'd understand. I would get it. 1,000%, I would get it. Okay, my mom, when she bought her house. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all because there's always choices. It's like that song, "What Would You Do" by City High. Oh man, that song just gives me chills the whole time. You got the guy at the end though. Hold up, what would you do? Get up on your feet and let go of every excuse. Because that's what it is. My mom, when she bought her house, this was, I remember 5 years. 5 years before, she didn't even have enough $3 to put gas in the car. I maxed out every credit card. We've been living in apartments my whole life. And in 5 years, she fixed her credit. Okay, got back up on her feet. She was with her then fiance. Okay, things were going good. They bought a house together. Okay, we moved into the house, and like 8 months before the wedding, basically they found Jesus, both of them, which involved therefore no longer having sex until marriage. He had to move into a different room. He started becoming very dissatisfied with this arrangement because he wanted the sex. Because they'd been together for years, sleeping together, right? And ultimately, there was an encounter that turned violent. And trust me, my mom's not the one who she's not a violent person. And she broke up with him. Now remember, my mom bought a house. Sure, it's under her name, but she planned on having 2 incomes, obviously, to pay for this house. But she worked at the time. She worked at Federal Express as the basically operations manager for the country. She was like one of the youngest people, let alone Black people, to even have the position. And what happened? Older Black women, I'm not even kidding, older Black women who worked under her were jealous and angry that they hired an outside person, let alone a younger, beautiful Black woman, right, to get the job. And they started trying to target her to ruin her. Okay. And she saw this. And she was only a few years in, and she said, listen, I'm going to have to leave because they're trying to get me fired. So if I don't resign, they're going to get me fired. And then I will never be able to use this as a reference. How will I ever get a decent enough job? So she had to resign. So now she has a house with a mortgage that she planned on paying with her great job, and with her fiance's job. Now there's no job. So what the hell is she going to do? Remember, she just fixed her credit 5 seconds ago. It's not like she has this wealth of savings. You know what she did? She delivered newspapers. I've done my teeny tiny little itty bitty teeny weeny mommy. Okay. She had car full of newspapers. She delivered the newspaper every single night. Okay. Sometimes twice. Like, you don't understand and how many routes she took on. Whatever she could to try to not lose that house. Live without heat, live without whatever, who cares? Because she could not lose that house. You know what she didn't do? She didn't sell her ass. That's what she didn't do. And she managed to keep a house, okay, until she was able to get another job. And trust me, it was a minute. It was a very difficult time for her to be looking for employment. So my issue is when people use having children or paying bills as like I had no choice but to spread my legs. It's bullshit. This is bullshit. I had no choice but to go on welfare. No, it's bullshit. For the far larger majority, that's not true. It's not true at all. There's other things you could do. You just don't want to push that hard. You just don't want to work that hard. You don't want to have to be working 18-hour days, but you have an option to do it. You could do it. She could do. You're trying to tell me with her 3 damn trades, all you have to do is make one thing out of wood. You know how expensive people will buy a chest of drawers for $500 from the brick. They'll buy it from you for $250. Gotta make a few of those. There you go. Everything's paid for the month. She's a landscaper. You could start a landscaping business. You could start a carpentry business. You're a construction worker. You know how much construction workers make in a day? She could build a house from the ground up. There's my friend. Her friend was looking. She was contracting for he basically just got like a contract to build 80 houses in like 84 days, and he was looking for someone just like her. They always are. Always. And that was paying like $400 a day, basically, with $40 an hour. You're trying to tell me with what she has, she had no choice but to spread her legs online?
No,
come on.
No, that was what she said. She said she didn't have any choice. I mean, she's not the first woman to face hardship. And, I grew up in a household of hard times. I know about hard times, and one thing my mother always said is, you get out and you do what you have to do short of selling your ass. So selling my ass was never an option. It was never an option. I'm like, it never even crossed my mind. It's like you say, you got other things that you can do. So for me, I agree with that to a point that I feel like her choosing this as a way to go into it was a very lazy decision. Because, I mean, how hard is it to turn the camera on and play with yourself and get some cash out? I mean,
right.
I mean, so she might be even more uninhibited because her face is not in it. So she's like really tearing it up. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Literally and figuratively.
I mean, hey, no pun intended. But it's like, that to me, that was a lazy decision because there were many other things. I mean, look at all the industry that has been birthed by the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Right. How many?
I
We
mean,
just
she
covered
could
a
have made
woman.
masks. I know a lot of people who are making buku money on masks for the last 2 years.
Right.
On
Right.
what website was that? Matt, what was it called?
What?
You said mask? I'm sorry.
Mask, face mask.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I thought you were saying that like there's a website called Mask. I'm thinking
No,
about
no,
No,
covering your
I'm just
face.
saying, I
Okay,
know a lot of
I'm like,
people,
wait a minute, I
they
missed
got
something.
into making masks. There were certain things that, they did, with the pandemic. So me personally, I don't think that that's always the first alternative. But like I say, I don't pretend to, know what another person is going through and why they would choose that. Is like, okay, you know what? I have absolutely zero options. So here I go, with this. And I'm just like you say, paper route,
Right.
McDonald's is always hiring. And these are the things you may not want to do, but it's going to cause you to put some elbow grease into it than to lazily sit on a chair with your legs cocked open doing a step show.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know how somebody, after you do something like that, you can feel good about yourself and just going about your day and be like, yeah, I'm proud of me, because I did. But hey, to each his own. I'm not going to, throw this lady down the street. But I mean, there were other things she could have put her mind to. And you got to look at it like this too. She's been doing this for a year. It doesn't look like she's, perfected this into a classy, professional, money-making thing. It's like she's just looking for like the right now. He could be in a wheelchair, but I just need a friend. And when you say a friend, friends tend to be very steady. I mean, you do have your fly night by friends, but she's looking for a steady, until until she gets on her feet, but she doesn't want to ruin her chances of, being a decent woman and with a decent man in a relationship later, which is why
that's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off is that I'm gonna be real. What pisses me off is this whole friend talk. Okay. Because you're gonna sit there, you're trying to tell me a year ago you got so desperate, money wise, right? Trying to keep everything together that you started spreading your legs online, but you're not proud of it, so I don't put your face in it, and you want to get out of it, right? So you just looking for a friend? Like, no, like to me again, but she wants that friend to be mindful. Where's her presence of mind? Because to me, that makes no sense. If you're saying, listen, okay, honestly, I really need a man to help at this point, right? Well, then you know what? You look for a husband. And in order for you to find a decent husband, that means you got to do the hard work. You got to face yourself first. And she doesn't want to do the work. So she's just proving that she's in this lazy state of mind where she doesn't want to have to invest or do the work on herself to be able to get what she wants in life, right? So she's just going to take everybody else's scraps and everyone else's crumbs and whatever you can pitch her way, right? And keep trying to walk, on the fence and pretend, oh, I'm not really actually like a porn star because I just show my vagina. It's fine.
The moral high ground.
Dude, I can't with this because you have the option. She's 37, right? Okay, fine. You don't want any more kids. I get it. Fine. Go find someone else who's got 3 kids too. You make a Brady Bunch, right? You can find a husband, right? She's still young enough. But she doesn't want to do the hard work on herself. She knows that's what she would have to do in order for her to find kind of something lasting and good. And she doesn't want to do it. She's too scared to face herself. And see, that's what bothers me, because then she's going to perpetuate this bullshit as like a reasonable reaction in life, right? And then you got young women who are listening to this, who are going to go, oh, okay, well, she did it, right? I might as well just start from now.
She don't even look successful. I'm sorry. You could be impressionable young if you want to, but I'm sorry. Just looking at this woman doesn't look like that's anything that I just like, oh my God, maybe I can do that. It's like, oh, the hell no. There's nothing appetizing or appealing about what she's saying that she does. She hasn't even said, well, I can make this amount of money. She's basically just throwing herself out there. And I mean, she to me, she's a mess, and she does need to, do some self-work. She needs to do some work on herself.
Deeply.
Deeply.
Because there's nothing reasonable about a 36-year-old for the first time ever throwing yourself into porn. There's nothing reasonable about that. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, well, 18-year-olds, of course they should throw themselves into porn. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying is, when you hear young people make decisions like that, you understand the sixth sense it makes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, well, you got the looks, you got the body, you got the freedom, you don't have any children or a husband to worry about, your reputation yet. You haven't thought through life that deeply. Okay, I kind of understand why you thought this was a reasonable move. You know what I mean? But like her 3 boys who are 50, I can't even imagine putting your sons into that position. Imagine, because boys, man, as soon as they put porn on the internet, right? Boys my age were trying to find out how to download it for free through Kazaa, whatever.
Accessible. It's too easy accessible, and they're going to find their mom, which that's just a horrible situation.
I got one worse for y'all.
And those boys, because right now this is a media, social media world that we live in right now. And with the pandemic, social media skyrocketed. It skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed.
They didn't have anything to do.
Yep.
Here's something for y'all to consider. It's not her kids y'all need to be worried about. When her kids' friends and classmates find out about the mom, that's the thing. Oh,
they're
man,
watching her right now. Oh, those are Kurt's mom. That's Kurt's mom, and Greg's mom, Kurt and Greg's mom. Like, what the hell?
It's over. And I think that's something to consider when you have when you're Superhead, or when you're Cat Stacks, or when you're name the person we know that engages in this type of stuff, this either hardcore porn or softcore, or just being out here and your mom's name is in the streets. And let's talk, it's a double standard. Okay, full agreement with that. I'm in a full agreement with that. But when we find out your mom's out here, man, and you're a son, oh my God, you can't make a joke in class. You better be a gym going to ass nigga. You better be a fighter, because
that's that's a very sensitive thing, and she's really putting her kids in a vulnerable spot. No young man wants his mom to be, objectified as, a sex object, with his friends. Even if you are, a kid and your mom is a nice looking lady, and your friends are like, damn, your mom looks good, you don't even want that. So imagine your mom out there just, spreading it wide and laying it low. You're like, wait a minute. Look at
on the internet. It was bad enough when people would just know your mom's a hoe on the block and screw someone's daddy or uncle or something. That was bad enough. But they're going to go look at your mom's vagina. Here's the thing. I remember I was probably about 7th grade. Yeah, 7th, 8th grade, middle school. And there was this girl, and she got off the bus at the same place that I do, because she lived, like, we'll say a 5-10 minute walk from me. And at one point I did become friends with her, but here's the thing. Before I became friends with her, I don't know who she told about her life story, or why she thought she should tell people her life story. But anyway, she was adopted, and she lives in a pretty decent house, but she found out that her mom's a prostitute and didn't know who her father was, because, it was conceived through the prostitution, and that's why she was given up for adoption. I don't know who she told or why she told, but I know it got to us. And when I say us, I mean everyone else. And that was it for this girl. All of middle school. I don't know what happened after middle school. She didn't come to my high school. All of middle school. That girl could not live without people making fun of her and calling her mom a hoe, and then talking about her being a bastard and da-da-da-da. Like, it was nonstop. And even when I became her friend, like, I was her secret friend. Like, yo, we're friends once we get off the bus. But, like, when we're on the bus, I can't control what other people say. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be you. No offense. But I was, not popular through grades 1 to 6.
Even as a kid,
I'm a little popular now.
Your position, you'd be like,
yep. Yo, I wasn't popular enough at that point. Once I got to high school, I was popular enough to stop bullying. But when I was in middle school, I was not, and I was not trying to. I didn't want to catch it. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a disease. I want to catch it.
Cool. Be like, oh, you want to take up for her, Miss Ruby? Okay, you're about to get it. Oh, no.
Right?
Not over here.
Right? You're trying to defend her of being a hoe because you a hoe too. No? Just like I like Dallas. Dallas was like the middle school hoe. She was in English. We were in French. But she was in middle school. Dallas was a really nice girl. She had cold sores on her face already. But you know,
Ooh.
yeah, once the cold sores went away, she was very beautiful, and she was doing different stuff at the time that people weren't. Like she was dyeing her hair bright, like orangey red and stuff, like just her whole hair with like a really sharp kind of like bob. Like she was way ahead of her time as far as style. But she was a hoe. But she was a very nice girl. Like she really was. But like, yo, I'm cool with you as long as no one else is in the hallway. You know what I mean? Because like I'm not trying to catch it. That's all I'm saying. The kids are mean. Right? But then there's also your own identity to consider. Because here's the thing. Someone calling your mom a hoe, but your mom's not actually a hoe, right? You're going to get mad because how dare someone talk about your mom? But it's another thing when you know she is a hoe. Do you know what I mean? It's another thing for you to be holding on to that identity, to you to be lying next to her bedroom and knowing she probably up in there hoeing. Do you know what I mean? Like, the kind of messed up mentality that's going to give a kid to be considering where they came from and what they came from and what their mother has become. Like you want to make your parents proud, but you want to be able to be proud of your parents, right? Like I've always thought about that. I've always wanted to be like the hot mom. Now I'm getting old, so that's probably not going to happen. But I wanted to be like the young hot mom because I had like, you know, the young hot or young cool parents. So you know, I didn't want to be as young as my parents, mind you. I didn't want to be a teen parent, but I wanted to have that because I know how proud I could feel about my mom. And I also knew how not so proud other people felt about their moms showing up and they're super overweight, basically just wearing their pajamas, look like they didn't even wash their face today. Be like, get in the car. And they're like, oh my God. And they're so embarrassed, right? And I'm like, I've always considered that. Like, I've always remembered what it was to be a kid. I think sometimes people forget what it was like to be a kid when they're making decisions as parents, you know? And I think that that's what this woman's done because for 14 years, you know, her eldest son has had the security of knowing at least his mom's not a hoe. At least his parents were married. At least he knows who his daddy is. You know what I mean? And you're just going to rip that away from him?
Yeah, it's a possibility if we found out. I'm hoping not, but it's a possibility. But let me take a second and shout out Mr. Z. He has supported the channel and he has made Sheed sing. So Sheed, hit it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. B.
Thank you. Now, Grogu, I'm going to tell you something. Lana Rhodes is pregnant with the son. That's absolutely true. You know what the difference between Lana Rhodes and this woman is? Lana Rhodes made buku cash, okay? That woman is rich as hell. Very, very, very rich. Very. Right? She's also done very nasty things online, and the internet is forever. However, she is so rich that she can afford to raise her kids in a McMansion in the sky and literally isolate them from anybody who would ever make fun of her or even know about her. That is how rich this woman is.
I have a question. And I know I have access to the internet and I could Google it, but everybody seems to know who the freak is Lana Rhodes. Who is that?
Okay, so she's a porn star, obviously. A very famous little white girl, blue eyes. I think her eyes are blue. Anyway, but like, you know, one of those really beautiful, young, white, blonde porn stars. Now, the reason why everyone's really talking about her is because she's been on, I don't know who those other girls are. They're like these two white girls who I think are like Christian YouTubers. But anyway, she was on their show and she was talking about porn and being in the porn industry. And you know, there's levels of coercion to it. So like, yeah, she agreed to be in this scene that's, you know, kind of humiliation style because as her career went on, that started becoming like the thing you have to do. Right, that's where the demand is. So you got to supply it, and she would agree to certain things, and then midway through the scene, the guy would do something disgusting, and she felt coerced into complying in the moment because she didn't technically agree to do that thing, but she did agree to do this humiliation scene, and she didn't really want it to be a problem, and she didn't really want to lose her career, but like this was not something she was comfortable with. This is not something she signed up for, right? And then like going to therapy. And trying to like, how do you work on this in therapy? The therapist can't possibly understand what you've gone through, whatever. So she was talking about stuff like that, and I think she might have been back on their show again, because I've seen a few different clips from the show. People are covering it, and like we did the show, the video from last week, like the show that I hosted, the blonde girl who said, oh, this is what a good wife is, and blah blah blah. And the guy was like, oh, she's a cream eater, and blah blah blah. That's Lana Rhoades, the blonde girl who was like, oh, this is what it is to be a good wife, and you got to work on herself so she can give the best to her husband and whatever. And then the guy who was criticizing right after, yeah, that blonde girl, that is Lana Rhoades from last week. So if you wanted to kind of have an idea of what she sounds like. And that's the thing that's crazy, is she sounds so kind of innocent, almost like she sounds very innocent.
Chick look like the innocent girl next door. I watched a documentary about porn, and there were these 16 girls, and when you look at them talking, sitting in their interview moment, it's hard for you to imagine in your mind that these girls do what they do. There was this one girl, she was talking about the scene where, she was supposed to do this one thing, but she ended up having to do this other thing. And she was telling the story in tears. And I'm like, if it is that traumatic, I mean, I think, okay, is this really the only choice you have? I mean, what she had to do in that movie was so disgusting. I'm not going to even speak it. I won't even let it come out of my mouth. It was so disgusting. But she did it, but and she's still doing porn, and I'm just like, it was so disgusting. It's disgusting, but I'm just like, so you're this tore up about it. I'm like, but basically what I learned from her is she basically bought into porn, and she made this her career. So she was gonna ride it out, basically. Even though she had that moment, that was a story to tell. She grew from that story. Now she's stronger, and she's doing strong in porn. I mean, I don't know where she's at now, but it just, those women, it takes a certain type of woman to be able to do that in her mindset and to be able to get through it. It's not for everybody, because a lot of those girls end up killing themselves or ended up drugging themselves out because of the disgusting thing that they have to do in porn. It is disgusting. Yep. As she told that story of what she had to do, I was just like, I mean, I couldn't keep the vomit out of my throat from coming up, because I was just like, oh my God. And then you find out how much money they make. I'm like, that ain't enough of money to do that.
Nope. But see, it's baby steps. Here's the thing. So the way that the porn industry works, right, is as porn, if you're really doing this as a career, you start off slow and small. And the reason why is because they build a fan base, right? So with the fan base is going to stick on you because they want to see you do literally everything. And so you start off small and slow, and then maybe your first big jump is to anal. And then your next big jump is to this, and then your next big jump is to that. And then once, and the reason why you make the jumps is because the regular stuff isn't selling for you anymore. And then, and I've heard them say this, which is terrible, but sorry, black men, it's true. The next big jump, right, once you run out of all the other things you could do, right, gang bang, this, that, whatever, is black man. And then from black men, yep. And then from there, the only way to go is to the more extreme and more extreme and more extreme, as far as shame, as far as bondage, as far as whatever. That's no thank you. Because now once you've done terrible. The BBC thing, you've ruined Girl Next Door. So you can no longer be the innocent girl next door that was ruined, because they know that a black man's run through you, and at that point you're ruined. Like, it's crazy. But it's true. This is the way that the porn industry works. So if you've been in it for a long time and you're successful and you want to stay successful, you got to roll with the punches.
You have to know how to run the business. I mean, there was a lady who was talking about it, and she was a woman. She was an agent, and she just basically broke it down. She's like, when you first start, some of these girls, they're reckless. They come into the porn industry and they do any and everything right out the gate. She goes, you don't play the business like that, because you will age yourself out in a year. You won't be nothing. You
They
go
probably
in the
don't know.
you start out girl. And the more you do things, you give them a little bit, because the people who frequent porn are going to want to see you more doing other things. So you start out girl, then you start out boy, then you may graduate to girl, boy, then you graduate to boy, girl, and then you graduate to anal. Everything is a step. You do everything in a step, and it's like,
Oh.
you don't go in there and just, okay, now I'm just about to do a 300 man gang bang and that's going to be it. You don't do stuff like that. So she was like, a lot of these girls don't know how to work the business. And she was just, this woman was speaking like, like just straight facts with regards to the business side of it. And then there are some girls that come in and they know exactly what they're doing. They have a whole crew with them. They build up, like, okay, I'm going to have these 5 guys and yeah, I'm going to do porn, but I'm only going to work with these 5 guys. You're not even seeing me bang everybody. I'm going to work with these guys. Or there are some women that go into it with their husbands.
They've done their research, and I get it if you don't understand what it is, and you got some shady guy to say, "Hey, you want to make some money," and you go along with what you hear from that person. You don't know anything else about it. And you follow that person, and you end up, in the gutter somewhere. But we're going to end the show now. We're just a little bit over midnight, but we had a great show. I want to thank you everyone for participating in
No
all the
problem.
comments. It's been very interesting. You guys,
well, thanks for having me, Char. I appreciate it. I always enjoy speaking and conversating with you and Ruby and, the panel that chooses to participate.
Anytime. And we will have the article reactions tomorrow. So join us at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, please. I know you guys going to be full of turkey next Friday, so we probably won't hold you that long. We'll come through. And if we have some participation, then we'll have a regular show. If not, then, we just leave. We ain't got to take all of that. But you guys stay safe. Be safe until we see each other again, and hopefully that is tomorrow.
Yes.
And until then, peace.
Cheers, y'all.
How's that for the culture?
Family. See you later.
Bye, y'all.